The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
450 episodes. For a weekly show, that stands for longevity. Yeah, The Simpsons and Love Connection have been around longer, but they didn't have what we got tonight. And that's director Kurando Mitsutake. He'll be joining us tonight. And that is a very special thing. So, for the 450th time, welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Welcome all you little zombies. You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 450 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is the world's most dangerous podcast and recorded in front of an undead studio audience here at Castle Wolfenstein, also at the Lair of Lost Swag within the Raven Chateau, also in Casa de Zero, the Lair of the Gods, and coming to us from Southern California, it is our guest for the evening. We're spending an evening with filmmaker, friend, and all-around awesome guy, Kurando Mitsutake.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me, guys.
This is a pleasure, Kurando. We really appreciate it. We wanted to do something different and special for episode 450. The milestones don't mean quite as much as all of us can attest to as we get older. The older we get, the less we want to celebrate, right? So,
Right.
but this is what we thought was the best way for us to do it, is to have one of our friends that we've met through doing the show and that we've met in person, and one of our honestly one of our favorite filmmakers working today. We've loved your work, and we just enjoy spending time with you. So this is a huge treat for us, and it's been a few years since we got to hang out with you in person, and.
Yeah.
It's obviously not really possible right now, but this is the next best thing. So we're honored, and we're incredibly happy to have you join us for this episode.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here and celebrating the 450th episode with you guys. This is fantastic. And I've been self-quarantining for almost a year now, and I could use all the opportunity to hang out with the cool guys like you to vent a little bit,
Well, I think you're on the wrong show, Kurando. We'll get you set up with the cool guys. No, we appreciate that. That's really sweet of you. So, but yeah, this is really great. So what we're going to do, let me set the scene before we kind of dive in and talk a little bit more with Kurando. But tonight, obviously, we have Kurando with us for the entire show. So if people have questions, I want people to send them in. We'd prefer voice messages. Kurando would love to hear your voices. But if not, we also accept email. Send it to podcast@trickortreatradio.com. So if you're listening live, you still have some time. You can send in some questions. We'd love to play them for Kurando. So if it's anything about his films, whether it's about Gunwoman, Karate Kill, any of his previous work, or some of his upcoming work. We're going to be talking a little bit about Maniac Driver. We can't talk too much, but we have some information that Kurando can share, and then maybe some future stuff. We'll see if Kurando has anything he can share about that, and also what it's like to be a filmmaker during a pandemic. I mean, I'm kind of curious what your experience has been like, and we'll kind of get into that. So if anyone does have questions, if you're watching this live, please send them in to us, podcast@trickortreatradio.com, and later on in the evening we'll play some voice messages for Kurando, and any question you have, whether it's about filmmaking, any of his films, any of his upcoming stuff, please feel free to send it our way, and we'd be more than happy to play it. So with that said, we're also going to be talking about some Giallo, because as Kurando has said a little bit, we'll get into this a little bit more, but I think that it might influence Maniac Driver a little bit. We'll get into that a little bit later, but we will be talking specifically, Kurando picked Dario Argento's Tenebre to discuss, which I was very happy about. I know MZ was very happy. You kind of jumped at the idea of talking about Tenebre, right, MZ?
Oh, you better believe it.
Yeah, it's
You better believe it. It's an amazing flick, and I can't wait to talk about it.
Yeah, it's one of Argento's finest, I'd say, and with a really really iconic score. That man, like that Goblin score for the main theme to Tenebre is one of the greatest songs ever recorded in my estimation. So we'll be talking about that in a little bit. And if anyone has any questions about Giallo, or if you just want to talk about some of your favorite Giallo films, favorite Argento films, favorite memory moments from Tenebre, those are also welcome. So if you guys want to send those in, please feel free. Once again, podcast at trickortreatradio.com. And I guess since it's possible we may have some new listeners tuning in to hear Kurando, I'll just do a real quick Raven Shadow. I'm sorry, we're not doing the real intros, but I'm going to give you a quick one. All right, buddy?
Why?
Because we have Kurando with us, and we don't want to take up an hour doing your intro.
Well, true, but I mean, I'm off tomorrow. I got more time than Morris Day. We can do whatever you want to do.
I'm off too, but still, people don't want to hear an hour intro. All right.
All right.
All right, so I am Johnny Wolfenstein. I am the pencil pusher and producer of media for Trick or Treat Radio. We also have the vulgar guru of horror, Monster Zero.
Hello, everybody.
We have let me try to summarize his real quick. He drinks and breaks things, Ares, God of War.
Greetings and salutations.
And we also have the Duke of Degeneracy, the chain-smoking, hand-kissing, Michael Ravenshadow.
Bambaleo. That was nice. Very succinct, Johnny.
And, of course, we are joined, if you're watching the live show, in the middle square on Hollywood Squares, we have Kurando Mitsutake joining us.
Yeah, just so people don't get their gray beards confused, he's the one with the glasses.
And I trimmed mine,
And Kurando, you got a really nice setup back there. What you got?
Thank you.
They got some. I see some figures, some DVDs, some Blu-rays.
Yes, this is. I'm broadcasting live from my man cave in Southern California. This is part of my collection. My movies over here, and some other, books and DVDs, stuff like that. This is where, we do the family screening of the movies, and I work, I write here, so this is essentially my my workshop.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really cool. And I mean, not to get too deep into it, but is it something just to keep all of your stuff there, or do you take inspiration from just looking up and seeing all that stuff?
Yeah, I like physical media. I grew up with the VHS generation, so this streaming stuff, online stuff is a little bit I'm kind of getting used to it. Whatever I like, whatever I love, I actually want to have a physical copy of it. That's a kind of obsolete. I guess it's a bad habit now, but so I like to see stuff. Before I start writing anything new, I kind of go into this sorting mode. I'll organize my collection. That's kind of like me organizing my brain a little bit, and then I go into writing, and I pull out some, stacks of DVDs for reference. I might play some scenes, when I'm working, stuff like that. So this is kind of like my work library.
I gotcha. No, it's nice to have that for reference. Do you ever pull up something and say, "Hey, I want to watch the scene for inspiration" or anything like that?
Yeah, sometimes. Just for reference, and it's lines and stuff. Nowadays, on DVD, you can call up the subtitles. So that's really handy tool to actually find out what the line was, in the exact way, and that's a great reference. So I do that quite a bit.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's super helpful. So I figure what we'll do is we'll kind of catch up with Kurando here. We'll kind of do our normal intro, just kind of wheel and dealing. Raven Shadow, is that kind of how you'd call it?
Yeah, fucking juking and jiving, dropping rhyming, you know.
Is that so?
Yeah,
Really?
doing all that kind of stuff.
All right, if you
I'm
say
excited.
so.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I mean, there's been some, speaking of media, like I know Kurando, you were talking about the on the Netflix show. I'm dying to check that out. The was
Oh,
it a documentary?
yeah,
Um,
it's Age of Samurai on Netflix. My star from Karate Kill, Hayate,
yeah,
is playing one of the major role in that. I guess it's like an 8 episode documentary. I've only seen the first episode, but it's kind of like it's a in-depth warring period Japan history from 16th century. This one warlord finally united warring Japan. And it's basically, and before he could unite Japan, there was a lot of different warlords with the different ambitions, basically killing each other.
Yeah.
And this documentary is about that. And Hayate plays one of the main guy. I mean, I had to study Japanese history in my grade school, so I know there's no spoiler for me. I know who gets killed by who. So,
what
but
happens, Kurando? Yeah.
but for those of you who don't know the history, I'm not gonna say who's gonna win and stuff. But it's very well put together show. I think the principal photography was done in Canada before the pandemic,
Okay.
and it took forever for it to come out. So I was kind of worried about it, and I helped Hayate, go through his contract in English and stuff a little bit. But yeah, we were both excited that he got this major role in international production for him.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that is really great. I haven't seen it yet, but I know a buddy of mine, my buddy Rocky, he's been watching and he's loving it. So I'll have to. I never made the connection until I saw you post that Hayate was in it. So
Right.
that's good for him because I know, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Karate Kill his first role or one of his first roles?
That was his definitely first starring role.
Starring role, yeah.
Yeah, he had the smaller, villain parts and stuff like that in the previous, like a TV episodics, and one feature film. But definitely, Karate Kill was his first starring role.
Yeah, that's so that's good for him because like he was kind of a revelation seeing Karate Kill. So
Right.
it was really, it's like, okay, well, is he going to get some more work? He should. The guy's great. And as you mentioned in previous times you've been on the show, he's got a very unique style as well.
Yeah, his karate is not like, quote unquote regular karate, the popular karate you see out there. His karate is a little bit more classic, more old school. So it has the karate traveled from China down to Okinawa.
Mhm.
Then from Okinawa, it went up north to mainland Japan and became karate. But so when it was still staying in Okinawa, it was kind of cross between Chinese kung fu and a little bit of Korean taekwondo and Okinawan martial art indigenous there. So it was kind of like a hybrid karate slash kung fu esque kind of thing. That's why Hayate's karate on Karate Kill is a little bit unfamiliar to the majority of us.
Yeah, no, and to my eye and the untrained eye, it looked like a unique style. So when you explain that, I could definitely see that. And now that you give a little bit more insight, I can see sort of where it came from. And yeah, it's great. And it's good to see him getting some additional work, and hopefully he can parlay that into more because he's definitely a talented guy.
Yeah, he did a lot of behind the scene work, from Karate Kill to this Canadian production. But he did the stunt coordinating work for major Japanese network shows and stuff like that. But definitely, I think he's a great actor. So I hope he gets more work in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I mean, he's great behind the camera too. But so.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was looking back to try to see when the last time we had you on, Kurando. I'm not sure if I'm right about this, but I think it's been over 3 years now. So I think it's been just just about three or so years. So, obviously things have been hectic with with us. I moved and we had kind of like now with the pandemic and everything, but we like to be able to promote your stuff because
Thank you.
we love what you do, but
Thank
obviously
you.
it's been a little bit since Karate Kill came out. So
Yeah.
if you could talk a little bit about the last several years, I know there's
Okay.
probably a lot to talk about, but if you could summarize what it's
I think in order to talk about that, I think I need to open my beer.
That's a summarization in 3 years.
I need a little help talking about the last several years, but it was tough. It was I had two. I was lucky. When Gun Woman came out, it made some splash. Samurai Avenger put me on the map, but not Karate Kill. The Gun Woman opened many doors for me.
Yeah.
Domestically in Japan and internationally, and so I landed on Karate Kill pretty much right after Gun Woman. So I was really kind of happy, from Samurai Avenger to Gun Woman, there was a 3 year break, and between that time, Japanese earthquake and tsunami and nuclear accident happened, and it was all chaotic over there and stuff. So that hiatus was kind of understandable and culpable, but I was really happy that I was getting work back to back from Gun Woman to Karate Kill, and I was assuming for coming out of Karate Kill, I'll secure another job right away.
Yeah.
But so I had the really big offer from this to team up with this huge Japanese actor. I can't disclose the name yet,
Sure.
but one day I'm gonna do the expose or something. I'll write a book.
The tell-all book. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. When I'm 80 and about to go, but So that was we already had the majority of the budget raised based on this guy's name, and it was going to be great action, suspense thriller, political a little bit, and in Japan. But at the last moment, this big actor pulled away, and basically I had to abandon the whole thing. It was really heartbreaking. I mean, we had nearly $1 million budget raised for this, and so that was really heartbreaking. Then I was through that project, I got associated with this one of the major Japanese production companies slash talent management company, and they were going to do something big with me, and so they were going to give me the 100% financing for the next picture. We had the great script ready and everything. Then I guess their business wasn't doing so well, so 100% investment, that lasted for about 5 months. Then later they were like, okay, we can do 50%, but you have to find another 50% on your own. So me and my producer put together our contacts and tried to raise money, 50% of the budget for it, and then we were about to secure that 50%. The production company says, okay, we have to cut it down to 25%. So now we have to raise 75% on our own. So we were willing to do that. We were doing it. Then the company's like, okay, zero money from us, but we'll supply you the talent. That was the deal. Then I was like, fuck you. It's like you're not giving us any money. Then why the fuck do I have to use your talent? It's like, that's not how we started off. So. Yeah. so basically we abandoned that project, and so the whole thing took basically 4 years. I was just
Oh,
getting pushed around for 4 years. It's like that's the thing. It's like lower the budget. It's quicker to make it happen, and you can have it go. But if you're trying to like project for something bigger than you've done before, you get shoved around a little bit, and so unfortunately I wasted like 4 years of my life dealing
yeah.
with this, but it happens in film industry. Nothing moves quick in film industry. So,
Well, you know what? If that ever happens to you again, someone's pushing you around, give me a call. I'll come out and push back.
please, yes, I need you, definitely. Yes.
He's the Kurando
cheers.
Mitsutake stunt double.
Yeah, Aries, you need to create your own security company now. God of War security.
Pretty fucking good, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but fortunately, through that chaos, a wonderful Japanese studio, and I built a strong relationship because they were going to be the partner with us. When that management company was kind of being weird about it, and so now the studio wanted to do something with me, and that's what we're gonna do next, and it's wonderful. They are, so it's gonna be, my next picture is slated to be shot this coming October,
Oh, okay.
and it was slated to be shot last year in April, but of course with COVID, that got pushed back, and I was really afraid that they're gonna pull the plug on me, but they didn't, and they said let's push it back to when this is little calm down and when you can do a safe production, let's shoot it. So we're now slated to shoot this in October, and I'm very excited about it. It's going to be my first Japanese studio picture, and I'm really hoping that this movie will open up many doors for me.
Well, that's awesome because
Thank you.
Well, I'm actually kind of curious. So the other pictures you've done have been, would you consider them independent films? So this is actually going to be a studio picture. That's the big difference.
Yeah. It basically, I mean, it was it was a smaller production company giving me money to do God Woman and Karate Kill. Samurai Avenger, I raised the money on my own. So that was really an indie picture.
Yeah.
Just me and my producing partner, raised money together. Then my third picture, God Woman, that was solely financed by this one Japanese small video company. So it wasn't a movie company giving me money to do it. So that was an indie, professional yet it was an indie production. And Karate Kill is the same thing. Excuse me. Karate Kill is same thing. It was a small production company giving me money to do martial art movie. And but then this one, then the Maniac Driver was slated to be a studio picture, yet it became indie movie. It's an interesting story. We can talk about it. Maybe we listen to the score, like when we talk more about Maniac Driver. But that became indie picture. So this next one is going to be full-on Japanese studio picture. And I think if you guys seen any, this is kind of just between us, but it's
Earmuffs, audience.
It's the the company, basically the studio that did the Battle Royale is gonna do do my next one. Yeah. So you'll see that the iconic triangular logo. Yeah. So
Yes.
MZ just got excited because that's his favorite. That's his favorite movie of all time, right, MZ?
That's right. Waves be a crashing. Oh,
yes. So yeah, they've been good. That studio, they have the cable network in Japan, and they actually played Karate Kill and some Sony Chiba movie together as
Oh.
kind of a karate special week, and yeah, so they've been really good to me throughout, and finally I get the opportunity to actually make a tag team with them. So I'm super excited about this.
Wow.
Yeah, that's phenomenal. So congratulations on first of all on that, Kurando.
Thank you.
I'm actually that kind of brings me to another sort of question, and I know you probably haven't been to Japan in a while, so I don't know if things have changed. But you obviously grew up there. You've been there many times since. What is the dynamic in Japan when it comes to streaming? Is streaming as popular there as it is here, or are films still king over there? Going to the theater? What's the movie watching experience in Japan like compared to America?
Well, with the whole rental video thing to disc rental to disc. I guess the mail rental, then to streaming, then to like a Disney Plus esque kind of streaming giants. That's the kind of course of movie viewing in last 5 years here. Basically, anything that happens in the U.S., Japan is about. I'd say they're like 5 to 10 years behind of what's going on here. So right now in Japan, they're losing video stores. Just like the time we lost all our Blockbuster or Hollywood Video or whatnot. So right now, Japanese rental video giants are disappearing. Literally, like they had the shops all over Japan at next to a major train stations and whatnot, but those are disappearing fast. And Netflix opened big about 2-3 years ago in Japan, and they're really gaining the ground. Netflix does something very smart. They do local production. Specifically for that region, and Netflix has produced many Japanese contents, and that became a big hit, and that pushed them to get more viewership in Japan. So and also like big genre hits like Stranger Things and whatnot. Those things will called in more subscribers and stuff like that. So I would say the situation in Japan is like what was here in 2010.
Okay. It's
Raven Shadow. You should move there. You'll be right in line.
You'll be on the cutting edge of technology, Raven Shadow.
I know how to use Netflix. Okay.
It took him 10 years.
Yeah. Good on you.
Yeah, there you go, Raven Shadow. You can just go to Japan. No big deal.
I want to go to Japan. I would fucking be awesome.
And you'd be a giant there too.
It's
Right.
Yeah, you would be.
I'd be like, praise me. I know how to use Netflix.
Let me catch up real quick on. We got some chat rooms going. I just wanted to see. We have Kurando. Slegoth. Slegoth's tuning in, and he says, "Kurando, I'm drinking a 420 IPA with you, my friend."
All right.
And
I like my American beer. Well, this is kind of like a mineral water, or what you would call it, the sparkling water with the slight beer taste. And,
The key word is water.
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I actually like it that way. It's, I'm not a microbrewery beer connoisseur kind of guy. So yeah, I said to my wife, I like my beer tasteless, and she laughed. And it's not an insult to Coors. I mean, I love it. I love it. So, but I like this, kind of watery beer.
Raven Chow, you breaking out the Coors Banquet for the occasion?
I know I'm gonna get some tomorrow, but yeah, no, I've been rocking the Coors Banquet because I'm very impressionable at 44 years old. Because Johnny drinks it in the Cobra Kai show.
My love for Coors actually started with Stallone's Cobra.
Oh, you're right.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Do you guys remember the shot of him taking the swig from the display?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do
Yes.
remember.
That's a classic.
See, like,
yeah.
Yeah, so like the product placement works, like I,
Right.
I was 8th grader watching that show. I was like, oh, I want to drink Coors someday, like, and that totally stuck with me.
Kurando, do you also cut your pizza with scissors?
Of course I do. That's the only way I do it. And I'm cleaning my 1911,
Kurando, it's so funny you mentioned that because when I was a kid, if I passed to the next grade, which is always a big, exciting, scary day for me, because I wasn't sure if I'd move up or stick around for a while. My parents would always take me to a movie the last day of school, and being young was a lot of inappropriate pictures. Like I saw the first RoboCop one of those years, but one was Cobra, Stallone's Cobra, and I vividly remember that scene. When the bad guys, that all the gangs are clanging the axes in the underground LA, whatever the fuck, clang. I remember going to my mom and be like, I want to go home. And my dad's like, we paid money for it. You're watching it, pussy.
Jesus.
Meanwhile, it's probably 7th grade.
Right. I love the 80s. I love the 80s parenting,
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a classic. That's a classic movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's so good.
Well, that cult group in Cobra influenced my cult group in Karate Kill.
No shit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I could see that.
I
yeah.
see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Wow.
they were clinging the knife. I mean, that was
Yes.
the direct homage for that movie.
Nice.
Wow. Cobra really took over your life, huh?
I don't say this lightly, but Cobra really is like my Bible. It's like it's really like it's such an effortless 85 minutes. It's just you can watch it over and over, and it's a pure entertainment. Lean and mean, no fat, and I really think it's one of the most underrated American movie ever.
I would agree with you, Kurando, and I would raise you Tango and Cash, but take it back to Cobra.
Tango and Cash is a little messy. It's got some fat. It's a great movie, but it's got some fat.
Fair. But like, why
Cobra is much better.
Yeah, why was
Cobra's
Cobra
lean.
set Christmas? I love, once again, why is he cutting the pizza in the freezer with the scissors? Match? Fucking brilliant.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, I can't help but point this out. Raven Shadow goes to the movie, gets scared. His father tells him, "Shut up, pussy, we paid money." Bruce Wayne goes to a theater. Father takes him out and becomes Batman. I don't know.
Listen,
Really?
Aries, you know the theater we went to. I would wish we walked down those dark alleys.
If you'd walked out, you could have been Batman.
I'm
You walked out the wrong door, Raven Shadow. Things could have been a lot different.
Dad, this way. This way.
could
It's
have
so much
been?
darker.
Especially after seeing Cobra. Seeing those fucking the cult with the axes. Man, that would have scarred you.
That came later.
Running around Worcester in your underwear.
One time that happened. Don't fucking say that in front of Kurando. Don't embarrass me.
So let me check. I have like 3 different chat rooms going, so hopefully I don't miss anyone. But Creepy Girl says, "Hope Aries is drinking Irish whiskey tonight."
Is there another kind of whiskey?
And also, Creepy Girl wants to know, does Kurando like Tokyo Shock movies? She says, "I like them. They're silly, but complex stories like Tokyo Gore Police."
Yeah, I think Tokyo Shock label really opened up a lot of doors for Japanese extreme content. some of Mr. Nishimura's work, Mr. Iguchi's work wouldn't have gotten, the worldwide recognition without Tokyo Shock. So yeah, I have tremendous respect for that company, and I heard they were not. I thought they were not doing that great, but that they were still releasing a lot of physical media stuff, especially lately. So I'm excited. I would love to work with them someday in the future. So I really want them to go strong and thrive, and not only distribute great movies from all over the world, but I want them to keep on producing their original works too.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, even for me at the time, I'm trying to remember back when I saw my first Tokyo Shock movie, but they kind of penetrated into kind of American pop culture. Like it sort of hit at least the underground, like kind of cult aspect of things. I remember
Right.
seeing Tokyo Gore Police maybe 15 years ago or something. I don't remember exactly when, but
It's almost 20 years ago.
yeah. And some of the others like that. So it's interesting. And I think that it was able to kind of like, maybe not pave the way for other Japanese filmmakers, but I think it helped because I think people got really interested in a lot of that stuff of like, hey, Japan's doing some stuff like this. I got to check it out,
Yeah, they got together with one of Japanese old time film studio Nikatsu, and
Nikatsu,
they did they called themselves Sushi Typhoon,
yeah.
and they created the label. Unfortunately, it was short lived. I think they only did Machine Girl and Tokyo Gore Police, but I really wanted them to do more. I was actually hoping that I can actually do a picture for them, but
Yeah.
they went away. Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad, but kind of short lived, but it's still maybe shown a light on some other filmmakers and what they were doing in the Japanese film market.
Yeah, totally. I mean, without what they did, my production company for Gunwoman, I don't think they would have let me do that movie. So I mean, like you said, I think they paved the way.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
the other filmmakers.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see. Schlegoth is. Let's see. He's got a lot of comments here. He says the Karate Kill cult group was fucking insanity, and he says all I know is that in 2017, all of us were fucked up except for Wolfenstein. And he said Ares was fucking Batman in front of the bar when we were going in.
True.
Wait, you were fucking Batman, or you were?
How did I miss that?
Did I
I
read
may
that
not
right?
remember that night.
A little too
You
much.
look just like Robin.
Oh Jesus. So let's see. We got we'll do a few more minutes here. One thing I did forget to mention is in just a little bit we're going to actually have the world premiere of the Maniac Driver theme. So we have is this the main theme song from the film, Kurando?
Yeah, it's the opening theme.
The opening theme.
Yeah, and so opening title sequence stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have the world premiere of that. We're going to play as we come out of the break. So in just about 10, 15 minutes or so, we're going to head to the break. And then as we're coming out of the break and into our next segment, we'll be playing that. So that will be a world premiere. No one has heard that. So we're honored that Kurando allowed us to do that. But Kurando, if you would, I guess let's set it up a little bit and talk a little bit about some Maniac Driver. So obviously you have filmed this. Why don't you give people an update as to kind of where it's at?
Yeah, it's I shot this. Well, I had the offer from this Japanese film studio. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the term pink eiga. It's basically very traditional Japanese softcore porn films. Like Nikatsu did a bunch of them. Other film studios do it. Basically, their criteria is it's a sexy story with a lot of nudity and whatnot. Every like 15 minutes. You need to have a sex scene. It's very mathematically organized or planned series or the genre, I should say. And like as I talked about, last 4 years been really tough for me, getting green light for the bigger pictures. And so when this one studio approached me saying, "Are you interested in doing Pink Ega?" So I was like, "Sure." I mean, uh, I'll do it. And basically for the Pink Ega's criteria, it's very interesting. As long as it's a sexy story, as long as it's a soft core porn aspect, you can do anything. The filmmaker can choose the genre. Like uh, some filmmakers do comedy, some filmmakers do a social commentary, and so it's basically give us something sexy, but I'll let you have your freedom, creative freedom. That's the realm of Pink Egg, and that's why a lot of great Japanese filmmakers came out of Pink Egg realm. And but so I was excited about it, and I was like, oh, I haven't made a full on horror movie. So
Yeah.
if you guys let me do a horror movie, I'm willing to do Pink Ega. And they were cool about it, and they were like, actually, I want you to do a good horror movie with a good Pink Ega sensibility, make it sexy, and we want you to hit all the film festivals around the world. So that was my mission, and it sounded great. So I wrote the script, um, and we were doing it, and this was 1 year prior to the pandemic, so it's 2019, and so from the beginning of that year, I wrote the script, and then I went to Japan during the summer to get the production going. We were slated to shoot this in September of 2019, and but like I think the kind of I don't know, the overly sensitive society kind of thing really uh, the film studio is kind of backpedaling a little bit about filmmakers' freedom nowadays. So
Yeah.
it's like, well, we don't want you to we don't want you to make any political statement or this and that. They kind of started to pile on different little clause which wasn't in the contract, and I was like, wait, you are now, like, we're about to sign this, and so this guy's like piling on all these different conditions. I'm like, wait a minute, this is like not a win-win situation for us anymore. It's like I have to sacrifice something to deliver something to you. So this is starting to sound very unfair. So I actually left the meeting, the actual like signing meeting with my producer. I said, let's go. I don't like this. And we left this one cafe, and me and my producer went to the cafe next door, and we had the emergency meeting. It's like, what the fuck are we gonna do? I don't want to do this. And then my producing partner, she said, okay, I'm gonna cough up the money. I'm gonna produce this. Let's do it as an independent movie, because we've done a casting and hiring the crew and the whole 9 yards.
Oh wow.
It was gonna be more expensive for us to cancel the shoot than to do it. So at the last minute, I mean, like literally very last minute, we broke off from the studio, and we decided to do this movie independently, without changing cast or location or anything. And I'm actually really glad we did that. And I'm forever in debt with my producing partner. Um, and she single-handedly financed the movie, and it's in the can. And because of the pandemic, we didn't know what to do with it. It was in the can. We edited at the end of 2019, and I was going to do the sound work in Japan in person but I couldn't fly over there anymore. So, we were kind of gauging what's going to happen. And also, because it became an independent picture, we need a good, strong world premiere to, get it out there for the distribution world. And but with the pandemic, we didn't know what was going on with all the genre film festivals and whatnot. So we kind of, ceased our production for a little while, for like a 10 month. But at the end of last year, we were like, okay, we got to finish this, and we gotta find a house for it. 2021, we have to get it out there. So we did the sound mixing and sound designing remotely. Me in LA, connected to a studio in Tokyo. Thanks to internet, we can do this nowadays, and we actually got the actors in the studio to do the ADR work, and I directed them through video feed and stuff like that, and it's there. I think at the end of this month we'll complete it, and we'll start the film festival submissions. Hopefully, somewhere in the world we'll have world premiere of it this summer. At some festival, and then hopefully we'll get the American distribution before the end of the year.
Wow, so that's that's a whirlwind. That must have been just a crazy experience having that meeting and walking out.
Yeah, it was. They understood me. They're a seasoned pro, so at least definitely there's no hard feeling from my part, and I hope they don't have a hard feeling, from their part either. But it was, it wasn't a happy marriage, there. It's like they wanted something sexy. I didn't want to do just something sexy. I wanted to do horror movie with sexy flair, But so if they were going to take away my, artistic statement or, edge, I didn't want to proceed. So
good for you.
But I think I'm really proud of Manic Driver. We shot it in 4 days and a half. A fucking feature in 4 days and a half.
Holy
Whoa.
shit.
Wait, 4.5 days?
Days. That
fucking movie. That's a documentary right there.
It's like that's the reason why I'm aging in dog years. It's like I have no recollection of me being on the set because I was just I was just doing
4 fucking days.
4 days and a half.
I understand. That's how Takashi Miike works. That's how he's able to get so much shit out of a year.
Yeah. Well, it's that's seriously the average Pink Ega production schedule. It's like the most of them are shot within 4 days, and the budget is so low you can't do more than that. Yeah. And I think you wouldn't believe when you watch it. You wouldn't believe I shot this in 4 days and a half. I'm really proud of. I was really extremely lucky to have all the seasoned professional crew. They just worked round the clock. The last 2 days, it was like together as one day. So, like, literally, we shot like 50 hours straight.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, thank God in Japan there's no labor union. You know what I mean? It's like, Jesus Christ.
Well,
OSHA Smosha, we're filming.
It was brutal. At the one point we were like doing the close-up insert shot of this rig we created, and I said action, and oh man, this is another story I can't really disclose, but I said action, and I closed my eyes and I fell asleep. I was like, I passed out. This was like a 7 a.m.
Oh,
and
shit.
I haven't slept for 50 hours or whatever. And so I closed my eyes and I became unconscious for like 30 seconds or something. Then I woke up. I came to, and the take was still rolling. So I was like, holy shit, how long did we run? You know, then I looked at my stopwatch and it was only like 30 seconds. So I was like, oh, cut. That was great. You know, like I pretend. So I hope no one noticed that I slept for like 30 seconds during the take.
Oh man, that's amazing.
It was crazy. And what's more crazy was in that 30 seconds of like a shortest quick cat nap, I was actually dreaming about making the movie in the dream. So it was like this weird, I don't know, Tenet, you know, Inception,
Yeah.
Chris Nolan bullshit was going on in my head, you know?
Oh my god, that's incredible. I mean, I don't blame you. I mean, being up for that long, I mean, that's nuts. So
Man,
yeah.
it's brutal. You know, I mean, I've heard so many horror stories about working in Japanese industry. You know, it's like, I mean, we can laugh about it, but it's really tough. You know, I mean, I hate to use this term, but a very abusive industry over there because people are not getting enough sleep. People are not getting sufficient rest. I mean, you know, a lot of Japanese film production in Japan rely on labor of love, and that's, you know, that could be very exploitive, you know, on many different places, and it is unfortunate, but they're used to it, you know. So like the last day, you know, I had to tell the crew, sorry, you're not going home tonight, and they were okay. They were like, okay,
Yeah.
you know, like
We have to kill you. We can't pay.
So yeah, but it was wonderful. It was wonderful working with the Japanese cast and crew. It was actually my first picture that I shot in Japan. So, you know, like Japanese film crew work ethic and their professionalism, how quick they move, how quick they can put together the lighting. I mean, I was just in awe just throughout. You know, I mean, I was really doubtful. Can I do this in 4 days and a half? But I was able to, thanks to my amazing cast and crew.
That's really incredible. And was this the shortest shoot that you've done for any of your films?
For feature film,
yes,
definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Because I know, I don't remember exactly what the number was, but I remember when you talked about Gunwoman, you had let us know the budget. I want to say, was it 10,000? Is that what you said?
No, the Gunwoman was, at the end of it, I think we had about 70,000.
Oh, 70. Okay, it was under 100.
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which blows my mind. But you know, that you guys were able to make a movie, you know, that movie for 70,000 is crazy. So now you have like this other, like, so if anyone ever mentions, can you do a movie under, you know, like with a small budget in a short time frame, you got all those boxes checked.
I don't want to do it.
Right,
I don't want to be known for that, you know, quick cheap quickie guy, you know. But yeah, it's but if push comes to shove, I can do it, you know. But I don't want to do this forever.
Yeah, Kurando wants that tantric filmmaking experience. It sounds like such a crazy experience. And the funny thing is, you shot it in 4.5 days, and it's, you know, then you took a 10-month break. You know, like
just
I know. Sit on it. Yeah,
crazy. Yeah.
Now, when you switch, obviously at the point in which you had the meeting, and then you walked away from the company, and then your producer financed it, I assume it was too late to make any changes because you had already, you know, hired everybody. But was there a thought to make any changes because you're no longer working with that company, or were you just happy enough with what you were going to do that you felt comfortable doing the film that you'd already written?
Right. Well, basically, it's a Giallo. Maniac Driver is a Giallo. Uh, I don't know if it's first ever or not, but it's a Japanese Giallo,
Hmm.
a full-on Italian style with the crazy, colorful lighting and everything. It's a sexual deviation, murder mystery, a little bit. It's a suspense picture, and a lot of beautiful girl getting killed. Slasher aspect to it too, and but it's flavored with this kind of a current political situation, like we just had the terrible president, and
Yes.
Japan, we had the horrible prime minister,
Yeah.
and both of them are now going to jail, unfortunately. But so it was like it was kind of a little bit political, and one of the beautiful shot I'm really proud of in Maniac Driver is we have this beautiful dead-on shot of Japanese Parliament, and Maniac Driver is a story with the taxi driver with the murderous intent. So we follow this cab driver in downtown Tokyo with his beautiful, crazy, scary-looking car, but we have this beautiful shot of Japanese Parliament in the background, and here comes this black taxi cab he's driving, and he picks up one of the would-be victim, and such a symbolic, beautiful shot. It's basically kind of my killer in the Maniac Driver, the bad guy, main guy, is kind of a symbolism of you know. Just bad people in the world, and because of the political climate, bad people don't get punished. That's kind
Right.
of like,
Right.
when everybody's a liar, or when liars are celebrated, when the bullshit conspiracy theory is celebrated, this is the world that's coming to. The villains will go on unpunished. That's kind of a statement of the movie, and those are the part that the studio wanted to take away.
Oh, okay.
And so I said, no, this is essential to the piece.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not interested in just doing a full on exploitation movie, post Me Too movement, 21st century, and it has to have some kind of political statement to go with the Jallo aspect. And the studio was actually against it. That was I needed to protect my integrity. Why I'm doing this picture. That's why I parted with the studio.
Yeah.
So yeah, to answer your question, I didn't have I left the studio, so I didn't have to change anything from the script.
Right. Okay. No, I gotcha. That's and the thing, just based on what you just said, it seems like this could work because a lot of times with pictures that were made in another country or in another language, a lot of times the cultural references don't transfer. Like a lot we watch a pretty fair amount of South Korean films. We love them, but a lot of times. It doesn't quite, the social political message doesn't quite translate to us in America, But it sounds like what you're talking about is this is something that could work both for America and also for Japan as well.
I believe so. I really want my movie to be international. That's why my first several pictures I explore the revenge theme. Because
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer that the concept of revenge is very universal. And anyone can
Right.
relate to revenge. So Maniac Driver, I think, is accessible from people all over the world.
Yeah.
Who's not happy about current situation in the world. If you're a Trump supporter, you might hate it.
And we hope you hate it. Fuck you. Can't watch it, asshole.
So that segues kind of nicely because we talked a little about Kurando had brought up Giallo. So I think what we'll do is we'll take a break in just a few moments. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about Tenebre, and that will kind of work into Giallo. And I want to have kind of a free form conversation. So I don't want it to just. I mean, the film has been out for how long, MZ? When Tenebre come out? Was it in the 83?
82.
82. Okay, so we're talking about a film that's almost 40 years old. So, we're not going to like tiptoe around any plot points. And I want to have a free form conversation, and I want to be able to also interject stuff about Kurando's film Maniac Driver, maybe if there's any influential scenes or anything influential about it, whether it's about Tenebre or Argento or about Giallo as a whole. So just letting you guys know we'll deviate a little bit from our normal conversation and just have a free form conversation about filmmaking, about Giallo, and if Maniac Driver comes up, or any other Giallo, let's feel free to just kind of run with it, so we don't have to stick to talking about the plot details of Tenebre. We've all seen it, but I am interested in finding out everyone's thoughts on it. Had anyone not seen Tenebre prior to this? I don't know if Aries or Raven Shadow.
Actually, I hadn't seen this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's cool because we get some perspective. Raven Shadow and Aries had never seen it, so we'll get some fresh eyes looking on it. I know MZ has probably seen it about 92 times, right, MZ?
Yeah, roughly.
I've seen it a good
Roughly.
maybe 10 times in my life, but I haven't seen it in several years, so it was nice to revisit. And how about you, Kurando? Had you seen it a bunch prior to this?
Yeah, it's definitely one of my top Argento film. Phenomena is my number one.
Oh, okay.
But Tenebre is my close second, and I would say this is like Argento's most logical work. And it's I think it's a great piece to start any people who's not familiar with Argento's work. I think Tenebre is a great first piece to explore his work. But I've seen it so many times. I love this movie. But I just watched it this afternoon to prep myself for the show, and man, it holds up. It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to talking about that. We'll get to that in just a few moments. I did want to catch up on the chat room. We had from the Dominican Republic, we have our buddy, the Dominican Devastators, tuning in. And he says, I saw Karate Kill for the first time. It's like Kill Bill meets The Man with the Iron Fists, but without the Tarantino slow burn and bullshit dialogue. It was awesome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Just wait. I don't know if Double D has seen Gunwoman yet, but just wait until you see Gunwoman, Double D, if you haven't.
Yeah, I was talking to D. I was talking to D on Tuesday, and I was talking about Kurando, and I'm like, "Yo, check out these two fucking pictures, dude."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I'll watch them next couple of days." So I'm glad he watched Karate Kill.
Yeah.
And I hope he watched fucking Gunwoman because they gave him the pitch on, and he was sold. So yeah.
That's awesome. So I think what we'll do is we're not going to talk too much about shilling all of our stuff. If you guys want to support the show, I'll do it real quick. Head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/trickortreatradio. And also, we're going to do this weekend, we're going to record our Patreon exclusive for March. And just to let you guys know, we're going to continue the Giallo conversation. So MZ is going to do a list of some of his favorite Giallo, and we're going to talk about it, debate it, and talk some more about Giallo. So if any of our Patreon supporters or anyone out there has thoughts and you want to get them in for the Giallo Patreon exclusive, you can send it to podcast@trickortreatradio.com. So we'll be doing that. Just give that a look, patreon.com/trickortreatradio. Also, we'll get the Amazon link. Go to Amazon, go to trickortreatradio.com, click on the Amazon logo, bring it there, use it. Sorry, Raven Chow, we're not doing the bit, but people can use the link. And finally, on trickortreatradio.com, we have a store. You can buy the greatest hits of Trick or Treat Radio volumes 1 through 3 on the store there on trickortreatradio.com. So, all right. So, Raven Chat, I'm going to let you do your thing still, but when we come back, we're going to go to a break. We'll be gone for about 2 minutes. And then on our way back, we're going to world premiere the opening theme for Maniac Driver. So, Raven Chat, I'll make sure you're back in your seat. And MZ, don't leave. I know you want to hear this. So, Raven Shadow, when you sit down to watch a Giallo, you sit down to listen to the opening theme, the world premiere of the opening theme of Maniac Driver. What do you do to prepare for this?
Well, first of all, John, I have to take it back to last week. And if I can be serious for a moment, if you followed the show for a while, I got some problems, but I feel true. But I feel last week there was a big step where I made a cry for help, right? I asked for help.
Yes,
that's the first thing. Right, Kurando? Asking for help is a good step in that process.
Totally.
And I asked, don't worry about what I say to Kurando, okay? So when he's producer. He'll walk out of this fucking interview right now. Don't fucking tell him. But I asked for help, and I woke up Sunday morning and I had a response to that help. And that was our friend E.F. Contentment, who reminded me to watch John Wick 3.
Oh.
So I can finally say the problem of not finishing the John Wick trilogy was resolved thanks to our dear friend E.F. Contentment. So,
wow.
Corny, I watched John Wick 3 to the end. Okay.
What'd you think of those dogs?
They were good dogs. They had fucking armor. They had armor on.
Did Ollie like the dogs?
He did. He marked out. He liked that one on the left a lot.
The one on the left.
Yeah. Even nudity, he was feeling something. I could tell. Little bloated picture, right? I mean, it's great, but it's fucking like a whole lot of Wick going on. Like it's.
And Mark Dacascos.
He was fucking killer too, man.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, literally and figuratively. But yeah, no. So yeah, knowing that I finally complete the John Wick trilogy. But goddamn, we're fucking doing Giallo talking Maniac Drive with Kurando, so you better believe, motherfucker.
I'm Alex West.
And I'm Andrea Subasati, and we're from the Faculty of Horror podcast.
And you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
The following message is a paid advertisement for the Cult of Muscle podcast. The Cult of Muscle. You're either in it or you're dead.
It's the dawning of a new age. The halls of Valhalla have been shuttered. The heroes of yore have either retreated to the shadows or taken to capering for the amusement of the small folk, their past glories a distant memory. The barbells have been torn from their once puma-strong grips, the beards shorn from their square jaws, only to be transplanted onto flannel-clad, puny weaklings with fingers barely powerful enough to strum a ukulele. The time has come, my brothers, to restore order from the chaos. No longer will our heroes be forgotten. No longer will their great deeds be viewed through a foggy lens of irony. Hear now our rallying cry as we scream it from the mountaintops, as we bellow it from iTunes and Libsyn and Facebook. It's time to join the cult, my brothers. So don your cloaks and enter the Cult of Muscle.
This is Matt Kennedy of Astron 6. You might know me as Manborg. You might know me as Father John Sullivan in Father's Day. But what's important right now is that you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
Oh, delicious nerds. Ms. M knows you like to chat it up with other sexy shut-ins about comics, movies, video games, and your favorite TV shows. If that sounds like you, cuddle up to the Trick or Treat Radio Facebook group, or the FIB. That stands for Fan Interaction Board. Just go to Facebook and search for Trick or Treat Radio and have more fun than a Jedi at a lightsaber sale. Not enough? Watch us on YouTube, The Deadites TV, all one word. Last but not least, check out the world's most dangerous talk radio show, Trick or Treat Radio, at trickortreatradio.com.
I can tell you I'm never coming back on this show. Especially now that I did that thing that you just need to do. Which I will be sending you an invoice for.
All right, we are back on Trick or Treat Radio, and you're hearing the world premiere of the opening theme for Maniac Driver. And of course, Raven Shell's not in his seat. Is anyone surprised? I sure as hell am not.
His dog took him out for a smoke.
Yeah. Ollie took him out for a smoke. It's
that was good.
Yeah.
You like it? Good.
I do. That had like early shades of early Goblin going on in there, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, it's kind of like Goblin meets Tangerine Dream. You know, we definitely went for that, and you know, a little splash of Carpenter. You know. Yeah, I'm quite happy with the music. This is the entire movie score is composed by my great Japanese friend Yasuhiro Kawaguchi, and he's such a tremendous talent. I think you'll really enjoy the entire score when you see the movie.
Yeah, it sounds really awesome from what I can hear, and I'm really excited to hear the entire score. Did you have specific notes for him, Kurando? Did you give him some inspiration, or did he sort of come up with some of it on his own?
Well, since it's such a genre-specific score, Kawaguchi is such a film buff on his own right too. So it's kind of like we didn't really have to talk too much about it. I gave him the script and I told him what I was going for, and he was excited, and we talked a little bit about different Giallo scores and stuff like that. But he pretty much just nailed it from his first idea themes too. He sent me the kind of a rough sketch of the theme song on the last day of the shoot, where we were setting up for the first shot of the day. And I played it on my iPhone, and the entire crew just, loved the sound. And I think that's the time they kind of started to get what I was going for, because there were some young crew members and stuff who didn't know about Giallo or anything, and I think really music kind of fulfilled them in the kind of. In the way that this is kind of like, it's not a typical J horror with long hair ghost coming out with the white dress kind of stuff, so
yeah, it's cool. I can't wait to hear that. It sounds like it really kind of nails the Giallo feel, and the Italian, obviously I hear the influence in there as well. I think that's a great way to Goblin by way of Tangerine Dream. That's pretty outstanding.
No, it's the I like the film scores. I like the soundtrack music that you can actually remember the theme. It's like nowadays I think we're losing that. We don't have like Wonder Woman theme no more. We no longer have theme for this, theme for that, and I miss that. I think that's the way it should be for the film score. And so Kawaguchi and I talked extensively about that, and throughout the movie this theme song is treated differently. Love theme is different version of the same music, and scary theme is a different arrangement of this song, and that kind of thing. And I think you'll see throughout the film, see the theme.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I like that. I like the concept of that. So I'm curious to hear hear more about it. So, all right. Well, that was the world premiere of the opening theme for Maniac Driver. We've got a little echo there. Hopefully that goes away. What are you doing, Raven Shadow? Are you kicking chords around?
No, I was moving Ollie, and I had to grab a DVD from the shelf.
Okay. All right. So I guess what we'll do is let's kind of, do the normal thing. We'll jump into the Tenebre conversation, and then we'll just see where it takes us. So we are going to be talking about Tenebre. This film was released in 1982. It's rated R. It is 1 hour, 41 minutes, and it was written and directed by the maestro, Dario Argento. And the film stars Anthony Franciosa, Giuliano Gemma, John Saxon. That's a name I can pronounce. the late great Daria Nicolodi. Rest in peace, right, MZ?
Yeah, you got that right, and John Saxon for that.
Oh yeah, of course, and John Saxon. Yeah. Oh, he's unfortunately been gone a little bit longer than Daria, if I'm not mistaken, right? Oh no, John died in the summer. That's right.
Yeah, it was kind of like a back-to-back,
Yeah. That's right. Okay. So John was July, and it looks like Daria was in November. So, yeah, not too far apart, actually. Yeah, it's a shame. But, yeah, this is, as anyone who has seen Argento films, I guess you could say that Daria Nicolodi was kind of, in a sense, Argento's muse, right? He featured her in most of his work and was even married to her for a while, right? Were they actually married, MZ? Or
no, they were never married.
Okay,
they were never married.
Okay,
they were, they lived together. They were boyfriend and girlfriend, and she was a very heavy influence on Argento in the mid-70s.
Yeah, and
up until the mid-80s.
Yeah, and I don't remember actually. Is Daria Asia's mother? Or is that through another... do you know if that was another woman?
Let me see. Yes. Daria is Asia's mother. Fiore Argento, that's the older daughter. She is the daughter of a woman that Dario was seeing before then. So,
yeah, okay. So it definitely was Daria. Okay, so that's
yeah.
So that's that's cool. I mean, everyone knows. I think everyone knows Asia Argento at this point. So,
yes.
Rave Chow, you do?
I like her.
Yeah,
I do. I like the belly tat. I like that a lot. I like she's a bad girl. I like she's Italian. I got black hair.
Oh yeah, you show this guy the cover of Scarlet Diva, and he goes absolutely batshit.
Yeah. I was fucking 24, man.
He loves the color. He loves the cover of Scarlet Diva.
Well, yeah.
All right, and the synopsis for the film: an American writer in Rome is stalked by a serial killer bent on harassing him while killing all people associated with his work on his latest book. So yes, we do have the late great John Saxon and the late great Daria Nicolodi, and this is as Kurando had mentioned earlier. This may be Argento's most approachable work, and maybe the easiest to follow, I guess. Dario was known for his style over substance. His films looked gorgeous. They were shot well. They were well lit. It's all about the style, I think, and I think he would probably admit that was more important than the substance of the film. But I think in this case, I think he tried to kind of marry the two together. MZ, I know you've seen this movie a million times. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. This is about as even as far as style and substance goes in an Argento film. Like you said, it's usually style over substance, and that's pretty true. But with Tenebre, it's about as close to even as you're going to get. It's still mostly style over substance, but it's closer than any other film that he's ever done.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And Kurando, what's your take on it? Being a fan of Argento's work, I know you had said that this is maybe his most approachable film, but do you have anything to add about the style versus substance of this one?
Sure. I think I don't know from a conventional film viewing experience standpoint. I guess one of the hardest film of his to follow might be Inferno.
Yeah.
Inferno, I mean, the main character switches in the middle. You don't know whose story you're following. And then, here comes the hot dog guy just killing the old man out of blue.
Yeah, right?
Right? It's like it's just super cool, but what the fuck, And so that basically sums up Argento's work. But it's like, he always said his movies are about nightmares, and the nightmares doesn't, so I mean that he has that the thought already going into filmmaking. But I think for Tenebre, his nightmare, I mean, definitely he has the nightmare sequence and everything too, but he kind of went more logical. Let's try to do a more Hitchcockian kind of a straightforward whodunit mystery with his super stylized giallo style, and I think this one is a perfect marriage of those two.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So let me cut to Ares and Raven Shadow. Had you guys seen any Argento movies that you can recall?
I mean, parts of Suspiria.
Parts. That's almost worse than not seeing them.
The remake, but no, I mean, I'm
the
been
remake.
friends with you guys for fucking 4 years, so I'm aware of the genre. Like I'm aware of the tropes. I've seen The Editor, which I feel like got the gimmick to that. It's unlike, like I know nunsploitation is a thing, but I can only assume some of the genre involved with bad habits, if you will. But no, I get the color is a thing, sound is a thing, Italian dubbing is a thing. You know what I mean? But I think with this, it was the selection.
Do you see what we deal with on a weekly basis here?
No, it's good. I like this. I like it.
Don't encourage him.
Yeah, please.
But this was kind of like Fisher Price, My First Giallo, right? It's a good entry level.
Yes.
Oh.
So did you feel that it was that for you? I mean, once again, coming from someone who hasn't seen a lot of giallo, the tropes, the ideas behind it, and having seen The Editor, which spoofs it, do you feel that you got a good sense of what it's all about when you watch this?
True, and even like the DVD I grabbed was Jimmy Gonzalez Last Night A DJ Took My Life, which is the clips of all the giallo.
Oh yeah.
Stuff.
Yep.
Which I've watched, so I get, it's women dying by blades and axes. Yeah, come watch, honey.
It's
that's fun.
Well, actually, I was going to make a comment, but let me go to Ares first and make sure we hear from him. So, Ares, you talk about your experience with giallo and Argento.
I am not a giallo guy because I do not like the style over substance. I am more of a substance guy. So that giallo is not the filmmaker for me. But this movie, because it was more substance, more so than his other movies, I did enjoy this. Now, as far as my first giallo movie, as Raven Shadow said, I don't feel this is that, because if this is what you're introduced to and you like it, you're not going to get more of this. Like, this isn't a good, first viewing for him, because it isn't his stereotypical movies. So that's where I stand with this.
Okay. Let me just read quickly. Creepy Girl had was talking about Argento. Says that it has great ambience, sets the whole mood, and she also said, "I first introduced my friends to Argento with Mother of Tears in my outdoor theater, the one that started with somebody being killed by their own intestines. They still talk about it to this day with the fucked up shit Creepy Girl makes us watch." You know, it's funny. I've actually never seen Mother of Tears. I love Argento, but his later work after Stendall Syndrome, I just Sleepless was okay. That was kind of a slight return, but I just couldn't. I don't know. Like MZ, I think you've seen them all, right? Is that safe to say? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's safe to say.
Where did it start to dip for you?
Let's see. Well, Stendhal Syndrome was his last great movie.
Yeah.
I think it's really, really good. I think it holds up. Everyone talks about, the post-opera years, post 1987, and Stendhal Syndrome, I think, came out in 1990.
Yeah, it was 93 or something.
Three?
Maybe? Yeah,
I want to say 92 and 93. And I think in between that time, he also did his version
it was actually 96, actually. A little bit
was
later.
it 96?
Yep.
Okay. Then he did the works of, he did some Edgar Allan Poe, but he also did Two Evil Eyes with George Romero.
Yep.
Let's see, which one was that? That was the one where he worked with Tom Atkins. Let me see, Adrian Barbeau, and let's see. Yeah, Two Evil Eyes. That's another one that's really good. Not a full feature, but still, that's really good. And then Stendhal, and then his last really great film was Is it Sunglasses?
I don't know that one.
Wait, what am I thinking of?
Cigarette Burns?
I don't know. The Card Player? Sleepless?
No, not The Card Player. Sleepless. That's it. Sleepless.
Yeah. That's
because the only reason why I say Sunglasses is because that was the original name of the movie. And for some reason, that's stuck with me. And then he did his two bits of in the Masters of Horror series, which both are fantastic.
Yeah.
Definitely check those out. Let's see, it was Jennifer and
Peltz.
That's it. Both fantastic. His time hasn't been kind to Argento.
No.
It seems like the medium has passed by him. If you saw Dracula, that was rough. That was just absolutely rough. I mean, and there's giant praying mantises running around and shit. It's just really fucked up, and it's totally incoherent. Makes no sense. And same thing can be said for Card Player and Giallo. Just not very good stuff. The 70s, 80s, couple in the 90s are worth your time. And his Masters of Horror segments, worth your time. Everything else is pretty much go by the wayside.
Yeah, apparently he has a new film coming out, and actually it's I don't know if it's getting an American release. It's called Occhiali Neri. It says it's releasing March 20th, 2021. So I don't know if that's just in Italy, if it's going to be here in the States. I'm not quite sure. I'd have to look that up, but it's listed as a mystery thriller. So I wonder if he's going back to his Giallo roots. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, it is a shame. It's kind of like that, that musician who puts out like a few great albums and then they just can't reproduce it. And there are people, fans of his work that will continue to watch, but and I'm certainly not putting him down. He's still an amazing filmmaker, but it just wasn't quite there in the last few years. Now, Kurando, When did you first find out about Argento? Was it when you got to the States, or did you know about him when you were in Japan?
Well, before I answer that question, can I interject on what happened to Argento in the 2000? I think we need to take it into consideration how bad whole Italian film industry went in. Like they hardly produce any movies anymore. Only the mainstream big stuff are made, and like none of the genre stuff is made. I was really heartbroken when my Samurai Avenger wasn't even distributed in Italy. Because it's a love letter to spaghetti western. And I thought the Italian company will definitely pick it up for distribution, and but I found out there's like virtually zero small foreign movie distribution in Italy anymore. Because the film industry is really weak over there, and I think that's got a lot to do with Argento not be able to put out great movies anymore. And, the same thing is happening to a lot of, Italian filmmakers. Lamberto Bava is such a great guy, such a great filmmaker. I met him in Germany a couple times, but, he's not working. All the other giants, yeah, it's kind of a sad state. I mean, Japanese movies the same thing. Japanese domestic market is so weak. That's why I have to shoot the movie in 4 days and a half. The industry is really just disappearing, and I think in general, cinema is not the king of entertainment anymore. It's definitely gotten taken over, and films doesn't really matter anymore, and that's what's happening all around the world. And because in the States, Hollywood is going still strong, sorta, and that's why we don't feel it here. But all around the world, all the cinema is practically dead.
Yeah, it's an interesting point to bring up, because I do realize that we're in a very interesting time, and we don't know what things are going to look like coming out of the other end of COVID.
Totally.
Theaters, who knows? I mean, theaters are struggling hard, and they're there's rumors and news going around that we could see like Amazon and Netflix buy up theater chains. And what's going to happen then? Then that's I don't know. It's going to be an interesting time in the next couple of years to see what happens. It would be a real shame if the film industry changed in a way that moved towards streaming first. Obviously as a consumer and as someone who wants, who does enjoy seeing films in the comfort of his own home, there's no replacing going to a theater. And especially coming from someone like, for me, I used to be a film projectionist. I love seeing 35 millimeter. I've kind of accepted that I'm not going to see 35 millimeter anymore, at least in most places. But still, I like the experience of going to an actual theater, and it will be interesting to see where this goes and what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be, my wife and my son, they always call me doomsdayer because I talk about gloomy, future. But, I really don't have any good outlook for the film industry, I mean, when the streaming started, it's like, you don't, and it's a subscription-based mentality. You're not paying for per film. That was the major game changer in a really horrible way. So like, if a film is no longer has that attraction or importance for people to pay money to go see, and It's that's really the beginning of the demise of cinema, I think. So here, this was the super. Can you see this, guys? It's
Oh yeah.
this was the picture. Let's see. This was the picture of my local AMC theater
Oh wow.
with no posters.
Wow.
With
Oh,
No.
yeah, like all the posters were taken down because
Wow.
they've been closed since here in LA. All the theaters hasn't been open since March. It's been a year, and
Yeah.
it's when I saw that view of all the poster windows empty, gutted, it just broke my heart. I really felt like we're coming to the end of cinema, and it's I can't even describe it.
Yeah.
you held up that photo. That looked like windows. That looked like an abandoned factory.
That's what I
That
thought
didn't
too.
like.
Yeah.
I didn't think you were
Yeah.
showing a theater.
Yeah, yeah, it's heartbreaking. It's a perfectly great functioning multi-screen AMC theater in Palos Verdes, and it looks like it's abandoned. It's heartbreaking.
Well, I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of streaming. I like tangible, physical media. But imagine how bad cinema would be if we didn't have streaming right now.
Correct. Yeah,
It would probably be dead now. I mean, like literally flatline.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, at least it's able to keep going, and it's we're getting movies now coming out finally. Like they're kind of dumping them out. Well, I shouldn't say dumping them out, but I mean without a full theatrical release, they have to do something. So we're getting films being either put onto VOD or services like HBO Max or Disney Plus or whatever. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting time, and it'll be interesting to see what brings people back. Is it going to be like a big blockbuster? What is it going to be? So yeah, it is sad, and and that is a good point, Kurando, about just the Italian film industry. I don't, I'll say I'm a little ignorant of what happens in the Italian film world, but as you've said, like I haven't even heard of many films coming out of there, and like that could be a very big reason for Argento's decline. Is maybe there's not people who are working and doing films, and he's maybe just trying to keep it alive on his own.
Yeah, I hang out with a little bit with Deodato in Germany, and he was having the same struggle. He's an amazing artist. He's like, I had the pleasure of having dinner together with him, and he's just wonderful artist. They're like a full-on Italian artist, And one of the things he said I loved was like, if Pasolini's Salo is a work of art, then my movies are work of art, and I love that quote. It's so right on. But like a great, amazing filmmaker like him is struggling to make movies. His latest, which came out like 4 years ago, didn't even make American distribution here, and it was actually a very ambitious project, but it was, I hate to say it, but it was cheaply shot on video. I mean, that's all they can do over there now, and it's really heartbreaking what is happening to great Italian genre filmmakers.
Yeah, and because they were such trailblazers, the Italian cinema, years ago, especially with the with the westerns, and then also with horror, and even kind of sleazy, like the giallo stuff, and and all that.
Yeah, sexy stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
They made a lot of straight to video sexy content in the 80s. When the rental video bubble happened, and a lot of times those were disguised as American production with the American name. But.
Yeah.
But it really was Italian production. And to going back to your original question, so I got to experience Argento fairly earlier in my life because Italian movies were very popular in Japan. Spaghetti westerns had the really stronghold in Japan. Like Giuliano Gemma, the inspector in Tenebre. He's a big spaghetti western star, and he was so popular in Japan. He was even doing car commercial in Japan.
Oh wow!
This was before I was born in the 70s, but so he was like Italian genre stars were like really household names in Japan, and so a lot of video stores carried Italian horror movies, Italian action movies, and when I started just renting anything from video stores, fairly early on, I started to really enjoy crazy Italian genre movies.
It's interesting because as we know, spaghetti westerns took a lot from samurai films, so it makes sense that that they would be beloved in Japan. Do you feel that that's why? Is it because they resembled a lot of the samurai stuff, or was there some other cultural fascination with it?
Possibly, definitely. Kurosawa production suing. Fistful of dollar, copying Yojimbo or something like that. But Sergio Leone. That might be the case. But I think a lot of old school Japanese movie fans really just craved Western and Western movies, and they really didn't care where it came from, and they just soaked it all up, and they loved it, and so that kind of opened the gateway for Italian horror films to flood Japanese market, and they were very popular. I mean, I saw Fulci's Zombie on TV when I was like 11, and they didn't cut any nudity or the gore out. I mean, the full-on like eye stab was aired on Japanese TV. I mean, it wasn't prime time. It was like later in the evening, but still, it was aired. And only part they cut for the Japanese broadcast was the zombie fight with the shark. I guess
part.
they thought, I guess they thought it was too weird, so they cut it out. But everything else was intact.
You spoke of the Japan being behind the times as far as still being in the decline of the rentals and everything else. Now, does that hold true with the cinema? Like, are they? Is it like, you speak of the spaghetti westerns in Japan? Like, is it behind the times, or were they getting them at the same point as we were here in the States?
I believe it was kind of a real-time release, like when like say, Giuliano Gemma was a star in Italy, he was a star in Japan too. So I think
it wasn't like on the downside of his career, type of thing when he was doing the commercials. He was still as big of a star everywhere else.
Oh, totally. I mean, Japanese TV hired. They paid buku bucks for international stars to Japanese commercials. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger was doing like instant ramen commercial in Japan. Stallone was doing ham commercial in Japan.
You know what? I've heard that.
Yeah,
I think I've somewhere I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Bruce Willis was just doing a car commercial last year in Japan. So like they don't get them on the way down. Japanese commercials get them when they were at the top. So like Italian actor doing a Japanese commercial, that means he wasn't going down. He was at his top.
At the top.
Japanese hired them. So I mean, Diane Rain was doing a Japanese industrial truck commercial. I mean, it's insane. It's insane.
I'm gonna buy that.
And the dirty secret is like you can now watch all of them on YouTube. It's crazy. But before they had the strict, contract saying this will be never shown in U.S. or this should be never shown in overseas. That's why all of them did it.
Oh, it's really interesting because I could see, at least back in the day, like let's say 70s and 80s, film was a far superior medium. Whereas if you were on TV, you were done. You know, like if you took a job on TV, you weren't going to get any film jobs. So that's interesting to hear. They probably were like, yeah, I don't want to do TV, and they're like, oh well, it's just in the Japanese market. They're going to pay you film money. You know, just do it. It'll never play in America. You know.
Yeah, like Charles Bronson was the big actor plugging male cosmetic in Japan for ages. Yeah, he was plugging this super famous Japanese aftershave. And who else? Tommy Lee Jones he has this decade-long running canned coffee commercial in Japan.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, Tommy Lee Jones is like household name in Japan. All the kids know him from the commercials.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
I know what I'm doing all night. I'm going to just watch Japanese commercials all night.
yeah, you should just Google Japanese commercial with Hollywood star. Then you'll be amazed.
I think Hulk Hogan has a couple out there.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, the wrestlers were huge.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
All right, Red Shadow, you're producing the show. I'm going to watch Japanese commercials all night. Okay.
But no, it's fine too. But then, like, even in the States too, where like everyone busts fucking Van Damme's balls for doing a Tostitos commercial. But you know what I mean? Fucking whatever the fuck, he's Jean-Claude Van Damme. Fucking you tell him he's a fucking dummy for doing that. He'll kick you in the face for real. You know. But
yeah, well, the difference there though is he's on the downslope of his career for that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, poor JCVD.
Steven Seagal.
Who doesn't like fucking Tostitos? He's not like he's hanging out with Vladimir Putin like Seagal does.
Yeah, true. Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Yeah.
Nothing.
We'll be seeing Steven Seagal doing Just for Men commercials.
We're gonna our boy First Time Mike checking in. He says, "Evening family, happy episode 450, my brothers, and hello Kurando." So thank you, First Time Mike, for tuning in. All right, so let's dive a little bit deeper into the movie. We've already been talking for almost an hour about this, but let's dive a little bit deeper into the movie. And first thing I want to call out is, I mentioned it earlier, is the score. This is Goblin at their finest. The main theme for this is one of, in my estimation, one of the greatest songs ever recorded. It's hard to listen to it and not just sort of like bob your head to it. It's so catchy. It's so fucking good. And it really stands out in that one scene, the crane scene on the outside of the house. And it's such a great kind of showpiece for that theme. It's just amazing.
The song is so good. I feel it takes away from the movie. The fact that you want to bob your head to it, it's the song should enhance the movie. The movie should not enhance the song. I feel that is now, it's not ruining the movie, but that the choice of that takes away from the movie a little bit, I think.
It's interesting. I mean, for me, it's all part of the style. You know, like the Argento style with you come to expect a great Goblin or at least Simonetti score, and they deliver like big time here, right, MZ?
I totally agree. Because every time it's playing, like I watched Tenebre yesterday, and I'm going dun, 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 dun. I'm just going along with the music, and it's that up tempo that keeps going up higher and higher and higher, that ratchets up the suspense in which this scene is playing in. The Luma crane shot around the house is just a phenomenal scene, and wouldn't be anywhere near as effective without that music. And as I said, it's ratcheting up the tension, because I mean we're going up and around the house for a purpose, and it's for that establishing shot at the end where you see the Clippers at the far left corner of the screen. Not even I love that part. It's not even centered. It's not even centered. It's far left, and if you don't look, if you're not paying attention, you miss it, and you see the Clippers clipping away at the shutters outside the window. The blinds. Yeah, it's just an amazing scene, just an amazing shot.
Yeah, Kurando, if talk about that scene a little bit, because me, someone who's not a filmmaker, that is a damn impressive shot. So I'm wondering, from your perspective, what do you think of that crane shot?
It's 2 minutes and a half, single take from one window to the back of the house, around it on the blind. You know, the guy murderer getting inside the house. It's impressive in the way that it's actually not well shot. You know, it's like for forever you're seeing the ceiling tiles and walls,
right, true.
You know, walls of the you know, like tiles or whatever, and so it's really odd scene. It's like a long ass one take shot that has the moves the narrative little bit in the beginning at the end. But in the middle, it's all about the music. It's really like, okay, this is a time for you to appreciate the music, you know. So it's a very odd, and I think that's the attraction of Italian genre movie is you need to falling in love with the oddity, you know, like very non-Hollywood sensibility, you know, like a Hollywood crane shot. Like Brian De Palma's crane shot or something, it tells you, it moves the narrative forward on every part of the long take. Yet Argento's long take doesn't really care about moving the narrative forward. You know, it's all about the mood and the music, and you know, I totally hear you, Aries. You know that this is not your cup of tea. And you know, my wife doesn't like Giallo either. You know, like it's acquired taste. You know, and some people love it and some people hate it, and I think that fascinates me. You know, because me as a filmmaker, that's really interesting to see who gets into it or who doesn't get into it. You know.
Yeah, see, I'm more of like, I'll forgive like visual things if the story is good.
Right.
But if, you know, I get more on, you know, I don't care how pretty it is. If there's a big plot hole, I'm all over that. That's the type of person I am when I watch a movie.
Right.
You're not.
No, that's a very valid, you know, I mean, that's a very valid point. Yeah.
Aries is not going to like Giallo very much.
Oh yeah, that's why I haven't, like, every time I try, because everyone just keeps on going Giallo. So I've given it more than its fair share, because it's just like I am missing something, and this is, you know, going back to the point where it was just like, you know, if everyone else likes it, I need to like it, so I give it like more than its fair share, but it's at the point where it's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna like what I like. That was where I checked out, and that's probably why I've never seen this movie, because it's just like, I don't like this, so I'm done. And if it wasn't for this movie being suggested, I probably would have never have watched this, because everything else has turned me off. But I'm happy I watched this movie.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring that up, and also hearing your perspective, Kurando, because you're right. Like, this is odd. It's odd to have that scene in the middle of this movie, or towards or maybe a third of the way through it, and it really does nothing for the movie. But I always remembered that, and you know, it stuck with me because it stuck out like a sore thumb. And it doesn't, as you said, Kurando, doesn't really move the narrative forward. It's just this really impressive shot to show this house and to hear the music and to have a stylistic sort of, kaleidoscope that goes with the music. So I think I give Argento a lot of credit. I think it's a really great way to showcase the song, but it is very fucking odd.
I think I was taking a note this afternoon, but it's very interesting. Tenebre is a family affair. It's the opening credit is a Salvatore Argento presents.
Yep.
And produced by Claudio Argento.
Yeah.
I believe they are like Argento's father or brother or something.
Yep.
And so it's Argento family affair. And if I were a director working for some producer doing that crane shot today, they'll say, "What the fuck are you doing?" It's like you're not shooting a ceiling tile commercial here. Like. They would take my crane away from me, and but because he his dad or whoever was producing, they didn't do that. They let Argento do whatever the fuck that he wants to do, and that's art. That's really just pure art, and we were lucky that the Argento family actually got the money to do this movie and deliver it to the world.
Yeah, and to talk about a little bit about the commentary, especially as you were talking about Maniac Driver, how you wanted to keep some of the political commentary in. I thought some of it was pretty interesting in this because we have the writer who the story revolves around, Peter Neal, played by Anthony Franciosa, and he it's interesting because a lot of people ask him like, "Oh, why do you write such a depraved novel?" And he's like, "I don't think it's depraved," and he just sort of like, it's almost like, I actually saw, I'll give him credit, I saw EF Contentment, one of our friends, comment on this, and he had some really good points of, it's really kind of, we see what we want. It's like we bring our own problems to the table. So when there's something that is, like has a depraved killer, maybe it's not a statement per se. Maybe it's someone that's just doing bad things, but we see it as a certain thing. Like, in this, we see it as like a sexual deviant he talks about. And, he's like, well, he says something about, he's gay. He's like, but that doesn't make him a deviant. He's happy, and especially for a film in 82, that could have been perceived as sort of a forward-thinking thing. But it is interesting how we do, as viewers, kind of bring our own baggage to a film and kind of fill in the blanks and make our own conclusions about things,
There could have been a lot of, if they had shown the discussions that were actually had about the books,
yeah,
that could have been a lot more poignant to what is going on in the world today.
Yep.
Just based on what little bit they talked about with the deviant and everything else that you just mentioned. If they had shown those discussions, or even just, someone revisited it and tried to recreate, it could have just spoken immensely about the world of today based on this movie that's 20 years old, 30 years old.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, Argento wasn't really known for his social commentary. It just was, like I mentioned, style over substance. But I don't know if he made an attempt to do it here or if that was just by accident. But I think it's interesting that, and as you said, Aries, it kind of is a little bit more poignant now than it may have been in the 80s,
Yeah. My speculation is basically Peter Neal is Argento. And, he's grilled producing all these horrible horror movies, and I'm sure the press from all over the world is like asking him, "Hey, are you crazy? Are you the pervert?" And I think it's kind of like it's Argento's symbolism, and it's basically him exploring his dark fantasy of maybe what if he actually is becoming a killer and stuff like that. I think it's a very kind of a autobiographical little bit interesting giallo in that way.
So that's a great point. Kurando. So, if it wasn't mentioned before, where does this fit in with Argento's like main event films? Like, where does this fit in his Suspiria, all the other stuff? Like, is this a ladder picture or a middle picture? Like,
This is after Suspiria, before Phenomena. I would say this is like really his golden era, which is the 80s. Don't you agree, MZ?
Yeah, oh yeah, this is definitely in his top 3. As far as I'm concerned, personally, this is within his top 3 best films.
Right.
And I agree 100%, Kurando, with what you said about this being is autobiographical. It's definitely that. Much like the way Misery might be Stephen King's most personal story. This ranks right along with it because of everything, like you said. It's Argento is constantly hounded about how he's always killing off women in his movies, and he said, "Well, I kill off men too." Yeah, but you kill off. The ratio there is like 5 to 1. But he gets treated though as if he's the deviant, because he's killing off all these women in his movies, much like Peter Neal's being claimed that he's the deviant by creating these male characters that kill off women. So there's a parallel there, and
the corruptor, right? And I mean, what I liked was the fact that Peter Neal was like an older dude, like, and still rocking a jogging suit. Love that. I don't know where that became in the Italian like fucking starter kits. Like, and to be fair, I have components of a jogging suit. I just don't wear them all together.
Well, let's be honest. I mean, he had a jogging suit because he was riding a bike. Like, he didn't go out to eat, pasta in a jogging suit.
Yeah.
He was actually working up a sweat in the jogging suit.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Yeah, and then
he
did you
wasn't
see what
meeting
he
with
did?
his family.
Then did you see what he did with the bike? He rested it on the on the Mercedes Benz.
Oh,
It's like, what are you doing that for?
Yeah.
The fact that he was fucking Rhode Island, I like
Oh,
that.
he was from Rhode Island. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, ups to that.
And there's the whole irony involved with the title, because Tenebre is Latin for the word shadow, and when you think of that title, you think of darkness. And this is a film that takes place a lot during the daytime, and when the daytime is out, there's a lot of light. It's a very sunny film, but in reality, the shadow or the Tenebre is actually Peter Neal, where he pretends to be one thing when he's actually another thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is interesting, and I'd actually forgotten some of the details of it because it had been several years, and it is kind of funny because it ends up being kind of convoluted, which some of these movies tend to be. The killer isn't, they try to throw a lot of red herrings in there, and I appreciated a lot of those. There was a lot of elements of like, who could it be, right? And there was seemingly things that were like, oh, well, this person's in town, maybe it's them, or like whatever. I thought that a lot of that was well done, and then I forgot that it was like a little jumbled at the end. It's still a great movie, but it does sort of like, I think it unravels a little bit too quickly, and it doesn't gel as well as I recall. But
well, eventually you run out of people is the problem with this movie.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, there's no more people left. Like, it's got to be him.
Right.
Process of elimination, like literally.
Yeah.
What I loved, I know Kurando mentioned the gentleman who was the Italian cop.
Giuliano Gemma.
Yeah, he's fucking dope. Give him more movies.
He was a huge spaghetti western star, and I think like about decade ago. I think he died in Rome with the horrible car accident, which broke my heart. I mean, he was like in his 70s or 80s, and his car crashed, and it was such a sad story. But yeah, he's it's a really interesting casting, right? It's got Juliana Gemma, who's the legendary spaghetti western gunman, and John Saxon. I mean, he's a Bruce Lee's karate buddy, and those two strong genre male just gets killed by a writer. I mean, I was like, I wanted them to fight back a little bit, but very interesting casting.
He was ambushed, but I think what really got me my goat was, I want to take it back. So once again, this movie's fucking a little bit younger than most of us. Like it's 40.
Right.
Yeah, it's almost 40. Yeah.
We're about same age. Yes.
Yeah.
You're right. I love John Saxon putting the hat on, and Peter knows balls about it. He's like, no, I can do this.
Yeah, he's like, what? Shake my head. It doesn't fall off.
And it's funny in real life. I'll buy a ring in the store, and I'm like, I'll do this to my hand to see if it flies off, and I'll be asking, when are you doing that?
Do you make people kiss the ring?
They don't, Johnny. They fucking don't.
Yeah, they laugh at you.
Yeah, I've been real polite about it.
Even Ollie won't even kiss the ring.
Oh no, he just wants a biscuit.
Put a biscuit on the ring.
That's true. Yeah. I'll put some of his fucking turkey flavored fucking toothbrush paste. But, I like that toothbrush paste. And also, when the cop was in, and the woman's like, "Oh, you want a drink?" No, I only drink when I'm working.
I'm just gonna say that is a fucking giant Scotch he got handed.
Yeah, it was
like that.
Yeah.
That's how my grandfather would measure shots like this, looking like.
So I want to start to. I know we didn't dive too deep. I want to start to wind down a little bit. So if you guys have any additional thoughts about the film, make sure we sort of get them out. But this one, and as MZ pointed out, this one was mostly shot during the day, so we didn't really get to see a lot of Dario's sort of trademark dark, well-lit dark shots, we didn't get too much of that, which is an interesting contrast to some of his others, where take like Suspiria or Dark Red or not Dark Red, Deep Red. There's some great well-lit shots in those and dark shots. But yeah, we didn't really get a lot of that in this, and it was about, I think he tried to do more of a story in this than in some of his others, because in some of his other pictures, like it's really these loosely pieced together plot points that sort of make a movie, but isn't real cohesive narrative. So I think he tried a little bit harder on this to make a more cohesive narrative. MZ, would you, being a huge fan of Argento, would you agree with that? Do you think it's more cohesive than some of his other films as far as story goes?
Yeah, this one's pretty easy to follow. This one and Phenomena. All his other films, again, style over substance, but this film is maybe a little bit below Phenomenon as far as a cohesive story goes. There's a lot of exposition at the end of the film that just keeps unraveling, and as you learn more about Peter Neal. Meanwhile, the exposition in Phenomena is pretty much all there. It's pretty much in one collective unit. It's a very easy movie to follow. Mm-hmm. But Tenebre has a little bit of twists and turns in it as far as the exposition goes, so it just ranks just below, but it's still pretty high on the ladder.
Well, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought I remembered in other Giallo movies that I've seen a whole lot of people going through glass as I saw in this movie.
Yeah.
Am I wrong with that? Am I misremembering?
Well, I think that's Argento thing. Argento does that quite a bit. I think
Okay.
he that's his signature thing. He does it in Phenomena very effectively, and he did it in other earlier work of his as well. So
So a lot of okay.
That's
just
Inferno. Yeah.
That seemed to strike a familiar chord with me as I was watching that. Just people going through glass.
Yeah, and also, this is very, like you said, this is kind of a very different Argento film from all his other stuff. The lighting and this and that, and also the cohesive narrative, and also Argento, surprisingly enough, doesn't shoot that many nudity in his movies, but Tenebre has plenty of nudity, and that's very rare for Argento. It's kind of like I watched this movie, revisited this movie this afternoon, and just really kind of for the first time it dawned on me. But I think Argento was heavily influenced by Brian De Palma's Dress to Kill on this movie.
Really?
I think Argento wanted to do his version of Dress to Kill, and that's kind of the first time I kind of thought about it. Dress to Kill, of course, is very sexy, erotic thriller from De Palma, and that killer uses the razor, open blade razor too, and they do that here in this movie. And the shot of the white shirt getting ripped, getting the neck sliced.
Yeah.
That has the very similar feel to the Dress to Kill's elevator sequence. With the razor, with the Angie Dickinson's hand, all that. So I don't know. I mean, for the first time, it kind of dawned on me, like, wow, maybe Argento was like wanted to do something different from his other work, and maybe this was a departure picture for him to go more mainstream.
Yeah, that's a good point. I've actually never seen Dress to Kill. I'd be curious about that, but I would absolutely believe that.
Yeah, please check it. Yeah,
check it out.
Yeah,
check it out.
I could totally
Michael
see that.
Caine, Keith Gordon.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Oh, fantastic movie.
Nancy Allen's just
Nancy Allen.
Yeah, priceless.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes sense because that came out in 1980. So I guess that does.
Yeah,
make
2
sense,
years later, right? 2 years later. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll kind of wind down a little bit here. Was there any other thing that you guys wanted to bring up before we head to a verdict on this? Was there anything specific that we haven't discussed that is worth discussing?
I just want to bring up one scene that
please.
and it's my favorite scene in the whole film, it's a very simple panning shot where Anne is getting off the phone, listening to the voice message from Jane, and realizes it's a recording, hangs up the phone, leaves the hotel room, shuts off the light, leaves the room. And next thing you know, you get the Tenebre score just, starting to come up. And there's a panning shot from right to left. And just as the score reaches its crescendo, there is I guess you could say, foreshadowing shot of a very sharp metallic object.
Oh yeah.
You can't really make sure what it is, but
I picked that out too.
Just as it pans over, there's a spotlight that hits the tip of it.
Yeah,
and it's just a gorgeous shot with that score building up. It's a fantastic shot. It might be my all-time favorite shot in any of Argento's flicks.
Wow.
It's just fantastic.
Yeah, with the lens flare.
Yeah.
It's magnificent. Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. Beautiful.
And that's the one where it panned past the typewriters, right? Is that the shot you were talking about?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
I did happen to notice that too, and I don't know that I noticed it as much in previous views. So yeah, it's interesting
Yeah.
how you call that out.
Yeah, every time I watch the movie, I watch that scene at least 4 or 5 more times because I'm just in awe of it.
Yeah,
Right.
That's great. All right, so let's do a verdict, and if there's anything else you guys want to say, we can do so as we give this one a trick or treat.
Trick or treat, baby. I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, and once again, my bring out the Busta screen got messed up, but that's all right. All right, so it is verdict time. We're going to let you know whether Dario Argento's Tenebre was a trick or a treat. Any final thoughts? I think it's a foregone conclusion, but let's start with MZ.
Oh man, I absolutely love this flick. And one thing we didn't even talk about was the disarming scene of Jane, where she sprays the wall.
Oh yeah. Oh, you said disarming. I thought you meant like a weapon, but yeah, no, I know what you mean now. The literal,
it has a double meaning. Double meaning.
Yeah,
literal disarming. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a scene. Now that has
good, yeah.
some Asian flair to it.
Oh, totally. I was gonna say that's like a total lone wolf and cub amount of blood.
Right. I mean, just gushing, and just the way it sprays over the wall, that white wall with the red blood, beautiful contrast.
Some beautiful arterial artwork.
It is, and this is in my opinion in Argento's top 3 films, and it's a personal favorite of mine. I just love this movie. Everything clicks. Everything, all the boxes are checked off. It's art. It truly is art, and this is a huge treat. If you haven't seen it, I implore you to do so.
And it is on Shudder, by the way.
There you go. You have no excuse.
Yep. All right, let's go to Aries.
Yeah, I mean, as I said before, I'm not a huge fan of the Giallo style, but this movie is the exception to that because it does have a lot of substance to it with its style, and there is style galore in this. The disarming, as MZ said, that arc, that painting arc, that is beautiful. You know what? I don't care what you care about the rest of this movie. Watch this movie for that arc. I know that made this movie. You know, if this movie was shit or it was great, that movie that made this movie for whatever reason. But the story that was with this movie, like, I am someone that loves murder mysteries and loves trying to figure them out. This movie had me guessing. Like, I was like, no, it's this person. No, it's that person. Right to the end, I'm like, holy fuck! Like, it's not a murder mystery, but it fucking kept me guessing.
Yeah.
And for that alone, this is a good movie. But the visually with their shots, that crane shot that was talked about earlier, the 2.5 minutes, completely pointless, but it was a beautiful shot. Like, when that shot was done, I was like, was there just a fucking crane sitting on set? Like, I mean, that was the feeling I got. I was like, they were just kind of like, hey, get in that crane, and just it was just there. They used it, but it pointless, but it fucking works for this movie. This movie is beautifully shot and has a good story to it. So check this out if you've never seen this. This movie is a treat.
All right, let's go to Raven Shadow.
Yo, like I said, I mean, there's things that I can appreciate, I can respect, but not necessarily. It's not my milk. Like, it's not my jam. You know what I'm saying? But with that said, I truly had a good time watching this movie, and I was kind of a little pissy, a little bit like, fuck it, what the fuck?
And you could watch Argento.
I want to watch Cobra, bro.
You want to watch Marion Cobretti?
I want Manny Capretti. I want to watch fucking what was Lone Wolf and Cub in the States? They cut up the show. It was Samurai Assassin.
Oh, Samurai Assassin.
Shogun.
Yeah. Oh, Shogun.
Shogun Assassin.
Shogun Assassin.
Yeah, there we go, right there.
Yeah.
Oh, he's got it right at the ready.
I didn't have it planned that way. I just happened to look, and there it was.
Nice.
But I watched it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm actually kind of really enjoying this. And we haven't talked about fucking Giallo Mark Hamill. How dope. Fucking the Italian Luke Skywalker. Come on. His little man. That was really sad that Peter Neal.
That's a different movie.
Well, not too far.
You watched the right movie, Raven Shadow.
Well, it was a breezy 100 and whatever the fuck minutes. But I like Giallo Mark Hamill was good. I liked it was the first time I ever rooted against the dog in a movie because that dog was a dick.
Yeah.
And even Ollie was like, he's fucking being aggressive, right? I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. My dog talk.
I'll be right back.
Yep. Yeah, that dog. Would he have been John Wick, Raven Shadow?
I don't
even get him off.
Beat fucking John Wick. I don't think John Wick might have shot him. That dog was a dick. But no, man, I did actually really enjoy this, and I would check out more of the genre and on my own and not try to escape like I thought I was going to have to this week. So, no, definitely it's a fucking 40-year-old treat. Check it out.
40-year-old treat.
Yeah, I mean, like.
Is it the sequel to 40-Year-Old Virgin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
You know.
Raven Shadow, you should watch Phenomena because it's got a young Jennifer Connelly.
What snub? Really? She get down and dirty?
No.
She's only like 14 in this movie.
Yeah.
I didn't know the fucking age, asshole.
I said a young Jennifer Connelly.
Well, that's like what? That's 18, right? It's over 21, right?
And it also has Donald Pleasance as well.
I like his presence.
Do you? Oh boy. Yeah, you should check out.
I can't believe you would say such horrible things about Kurando when he's not listening.
He's a fucking liar, Kurando.
You know, I was on to the second beer, and I had to take an emergency leak break. Sorry.
Totally understandable, Kurando. Raven Shadow probably would walk out on your verdict. So.
Right. Sorry.
Don't worry about it. You didn't miss much.
This quarantine, what it did was like I just forgot how to hold my pee anymore. You know, it's like I can go to bathroom anytime I want to now. You know, so it's like my bladder is shrunk. I think I'm not fighting the LA traffic anymore. You know, so sorry about that.
Yeah. Fuck the 405.
Top down. Who gives a fuck? No one's coming over.
So, Raven Shadow, were you done?
Well, I think so.
Hope so.
Yeah, you were done.
Yeah.
So, what's the final? What's
I
the
said
final
treat.
verdict? Oh, you did.
I said
Okay.
treat.
All
Yeah,
right.
yes.
So, Raven Shadow's going to check out Phenomena and watch a very young Jennifer Connelly, not 18. Raven Shadow, younger than 18. Okay, so don't get your hopes
They
up.
didn't. I thought it was 18-year-old Jennifer Connelly, but they fucking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was confused for a minute.
All right. Well, let's. I think we know. Once again, I think we know the answer. But let's make it official. Kurando, would you say this film is a trick or a treat?
Treat, definitely, all the way. I love this movie. You know, it really kind of holds a special place in my heart. It's like one of those, you know, like handful movies that I watched as a kid. You know, made me falling in love with the genre movies, and you know, this is such a treat. It's a phenomenal movie. Still holds up, and I guess, you know, it gets better and better. You know, like nowadays, you know, people's attention span is so short. You know, no one can really do this long crane shot or something. You know, and just kind of more concentrate on atmosphere rather than moving the narrative forward and stuff like that. It's free form, it's a freestyle, and we don't get that anymore. Like if you do kind of a free form 2 minutes and a half long ass crane shot on Disney Plus, you'll be shot. It's like the executive's going to fire you, right away. And but it's wonderful to have. It's very difficult to have personal vision in filmmaking anywhere, because unfortunately film costs a lot of money to make. So usually it's a committee mentality. Usually the financier has a lot to say about the content of the movie. So for many times it's really hard for a personal vision to come through in the commercial filmmaking. But Argento certainly was definitely one of those very fortunate filmmaker that had the freedom to explore his vision without really listening to outside voices. And I think Tenebre is one of those rare alignment of the star happened in history of cinema, and this we have this wonderful movie. So this is definitely a treat.
Awesome. So yeah, this is definitely a treat for me. I really adore this movie. This is definitely one of my favorite Argento films. It's hard for me to place it. This might be top 3, like you said, MZ. That may change, on a different day, but definitely I think the ones that immediately come to mind would be Suspiria, Profondo Rosso, and also Tenebre. So those are the 3 that immediately jump when I try to think of the top 3. Oh, look at that. Deep Red.
There you go.
That's another one of my favorite Goblin scores,
Nice.
is the one they did for Deep Red. But yeah, those are the 3 that come to mind. I do love opera, and Inferno to a lesser degree. So I love a lot of his films, but this is definitely probably top 3 for me. It's a really well done film. There is some really outstanding shots. The score is just, for me, almost second to none. And especially that one song. That song, like, they could have used that song throughout the entire score, and I would have been completely fine with it. It's still to this day one of my favorite pieces of music ever recorded, and it's just outstanding. So yeah, I love it. And Dario Argento was right on the top of his game when he made this movie. This is a huge treat. So if you guys want to check it out, it's available on Shudder in the States. I'm not sure about other countries, but it is on Shudder. And I know there's a couple different spellings of Tenebre. If you look for it on Shudder, it's Tenebrae. So it's the AE at the end, if you want to look it up. Because I actually typed in Tenebre with just E at the end, and I couldn't find it. So I was like, oh, maybe it's gone. But nope, you got to have the AE at the end, and you could find it on Shudder. Or you could just do like MZ, buy the Blu-ray, get a copy of it, a physical copy of it. You won't be disappointed.
Oh.
Rave Chow, did you say something? Or
I said, there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
In fact, let me just show you something. And now, forgive me because it is blocked by a cabinet.
Oh, don't pan down. Don't pan down.
Whatever you do.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice. Yep. I remember that, actually. Yeah, I forgot you had that.
Yeah. Signed by Dario.
Yeah.
Nice.
Is it signed by Daria as well? Or just Dario?
No, sadly it's not. Just Dario.
And you met Dario before, didn't you?
Yeah, I met Dario in 2010.
That's awesome. I forget where was it at
Monster Mania.
Monster Mania, that's right.
Monster Mania, April 2010.
Yep.
Yeah. That was in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And he was the sole purpose I went down there, and we just had a ball. And I was wearing my Edgar Allan Poe shirt, and he looked at my shirt because Poe was a huge influence on him, and he looks at my shirt and he goes, and then he puts his hands on my chest. But meeting him was just an absolute thrill.
You you didn't even have to pay for that. He touched you.
Yeah.
Charge
I felt
$20.
I got felt up by Dario Argento, and it cost him absolutely nothing.
Guys love you.
Or me.
Yeah, Italians do love you, MZ.
They do. They do. I'm for some reason I don't get it.
Giovanni,
Dario, and
yep.
Giovanni Lombardo Radice,
yeah.
and Geretta, Barbara Magnolfi. They all love me.
Yeah, it's true. MZ has a sordid history with the Italian film world.
That's great. That's great.
So, all right, well, that's going to wrap up our discussion of Dario Argento's Tenebre. If you haven't seen it yet, check it out. Let me quickly run down what we're going to do next week. Next week, the film we're going to be discussing for episode 451 is a film that just hit VOD. It's called The Vigil. I know this is one of the ones that you were looking forward to, MZ, right?
Yeah. I brought it up to you, and good.
So just read the synopsis real quick. A man providing overnight watch to a deceased member of his former Orthodox Jewish community finds himself opposite a malevolent entity. So we'll be checking out The Vigil next week. So if you guys want to play along at home, check it out. It's on VOD, and you can send your thoughts to podcast@trickortreatradio.com. All right, and as we start to wind things down, we do have a few questions for Kurando. So let me get these queued up here. And but before I do that, actually, we did get one question on YouTube from Skeletron. Skeletron says, I have a question for Kurando. He says, how hard is it to coordinate a fight scene and get the choreography perfect? He's referencing Karate Kill, and he says, great movie, by the way.
Thank you. Well, it's it's for Karate Kill and Gunwoman. I was very fortunate to have an amazing stunt coordinator. He really howled all this stunt people from Japan. They trained. Production of Karate Kill was just 3 weeks here in LA. Excuse me, but they rehearsed the choreography in Japan before they came over here for like 2 months, and so by the time they got here, they were really well-oiled machine, and basically, the 360 turning camera work and stuff and choreography, they already had their timing done, and so basically my camera person just anticipated the choreography, and we landed on the perfect timing. So, in order to, excuse me, to do the choreography, timing and everything, rehearse. Rehearsal is the key for everything.
Yeah, and obviously they nailed it, and that shot is, some of the shots are gorgeous. I love that 360 shot that you do.
Thank you.
That really stood out to me. But yeah, it's a great question, Skeletron, and we appreciate you tuning in and asking it.
Thank you.
All right, now we have some voice messages. So let me queue up. All right, I'll do this one first. This is from an old friend. He said he sent a few questions, so I think there's going to be some pauses between them.
Okay.
So I'll probably stop them and let you answer. So let me open this up in another program, because I don't know if stopping and playing them is going to mess up in my player here. So in the meantime, actually, let me just do one other one, and this will be a question from First Time Mike for Kurando.
This is First Time Mike. I got a question for Kurando. Hey, Kurando, if you had the ability, somebody came up to you and said, Kurando Mitsutake, I got some money here. What would you like? Anything you would like to adapt to a movie form, be it comic, anime, manga, novel, anything? Is there any pet project that you would love to adapt to a movie with your cinematic sensibilities? That's my question. This is first time Mike checking out. Good night.
All right, great question, first time, Mike. Thanks.
Thank you so much. A great question. Well, let's see. There's just so many things I want to explore. But to adapt, I guess to adapt anything, I would. I mean, this would be my dream to adapt.
Oh.
Go Nagai's Devilman. That's this is just. I mean, this is like my Bible to me. I grew up reading this comic book, and I mean, if I could adapt this, if somebody give me enough money to pull this off, I can drop die next day. You know, I mean, after I make the
After,
movie.
yeah.
I mean, not before, but I mean that would be absolutely my dream coming true. So or any work from Mr. Go Nagai, I'm a huge fan. I'll be honored to work with him. I would love to. I would love to do that. I mean, I would love to go to that stature someday and be able to do that. But yeah, so definitely Mr. Go Nagai's work. Also, I would love to do big budget World War II movie someday. I would especially love to do a movie adaptation of the story about the Japanese American battalion during World War II. Because Japan was enemy, and a lot of Japanese Americans were treated as enemies, and of course they were put on the internment camp and all that horrendous stuff. But those Japanese American soldiers, they fought more bravely than anybody else because they thought them sacrificing themselves in the war would make their family be released from the internment camp earlier. It's very sad. It's a lot of them died. The really crappy LA freeway 405, the section of 405 near LAX is actually called Sadao S. Munemori Highway. And this soldier, a Japanese American soldier, was the first recipient of Purple Heart from World War II. Basically, what he did was when the Nazi threw a grenade at their battalion, this guy just laid on top of a grenade. He died, of course, but he saved the rest of his platoon. So,
Wow.
stories like that is everywhere, and I really want to make a war movie, full on bloody, gory, gut wrenching war movie. With Japanese American soldier as the main characters. That would be my honor to do. And I always said, just please give me 5 minutes with Spielberg and Tom Hanks. I'll pitch this World War II movie, and I think they will greenlight it for me. So. I would love to do that, and that would be my honor to do something like that.
You would fucking kill that too, by the way. You'd fucking be awesome on that.
Yeah, I want to do it.
Well, we'll.
You know what? You say that, and that seems like such an obvious movie to make.
Yeah, it does.
Like, I'm surprised that hasn't been done.
In the 50s and stuff, there's actually one famous movie called Go for Broke. And that's a black and white war movie about Japanese battalion. But yeah, you're right. I mean, in the recent years, they haven't really explored it yet. But I think super famous story is this Texas paratrooper was trapped in the mountain of Italy, and in order to save this 15 or 20 Texans, the Japanese American battalion was sent to this mountain to fight off all the Nazis to save them. But in order to save like 20 white boys, basically like hundreds of Japanese Americans got killed. Stories like that. I don't know if my story just now was historically accurate or not, but I've heard some stories like that, and I would love to adapt that as a feature film, in a Saving Private Ryan kind of way, so that we can really explore the horrors of war and humanity and stuff like that.
You have my support with that. If you ever tried to make that, you have my support. That movie needs to be made.
Thank you.
Well, Kurando, we'll pull our money together, and I think you'll have about $12.50.
I got a bunch of singles. I can skip this strip club this week.
That's a start.
Raven Shadow's counting his change. What do you got there, Raven Shadow?
I got 2 lighters, some eye drops, some tweezers.
You got beer cans to cash in.
And 5 cents adds up, Kurando. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go to the next one, and let's see. Let me play it here. We're gonna hear from an old friend of the show.
Trick or Treat Radio, happy anniversary. Not a week goes by that I don't miss broadcasting with. Well, I mean, I don't miss Johnny. How can I miss you if you don't go away? I hang out with you almost every week on the amazing Force Insensitive podcast. We talk about Star Wars a little bit on that show. I miss Monster. Well, no. And of course I miss. Yeah. Well, I can't make fun of Michael Ravenshadow. He legitimately gets up and walks away almost every time I leave a voicemail. Aries, I miss Aries though. I miss him a lot. I miss you, sugar tits. I mean Aries. Anyway, I am here to leave some voicemails for your guests tonight. I mean, some questions. I'm trying to be fast because I got a fucking million questions because I've actually been piling them up because I'm, I've been dabbling in some certain stuff, and I'm always curious what somebody who I respect and love as much as Kurando thinks about things. So I'm going to shut up, and I'm just going to start asking these questions. Question number 1, Kurando. I know an artist likes to, do their own things, but if you could remake any film, what would it be?
Remake. I try not to think about those things because I hate remakes. But since we were talking about Argento. I mean, what the fuck was that remake Suspiria, right? Like, it could be. Please give me a fucking break. Seriously, please. I was just so disgusted with that whole thing, just pretentious. Ugh, just don't get me started. I think I need some Irish whiskey now. But
whiskey with a Coors Light chaser.
Yeah, I try not to think about remakes, but the serious statement for any film producers out there, please, let's think about what would they be remaking 10 years, 20 years from now. If we don't make good original movies now, what are they doing? Are we going to still be pumping out Star Wars or Iron Man in the 20, 30 years? I mean, I think so, but I mean, that's kind of limited, like let's create our generation of Freddy Krueger, our generation of Jason Voorhees, so people can be remaking those in 20, 30 years, so please let us do our original work. Then, I think that we can enrich the film culture furthermore, but anyway, but if I were to pick any movie that I want to remake, that would be actually. See, oh yeah, I have. Let's see. I would love to remake this movie.
Really? Oh,
okay.
That is one of my all-time favorite war movies.
Really? Cool.
Yes,
Cool.
I love Uncommon Valor.
I love this. This was on Japanese TV when I was like fourth grade or fifth grade. I recorded on my VHS and I just literally watched it over and over until the tape gave up. It it really holds such a special place in my heart. It's a great story, and I loved it as an action movie. Action kind of a rescue mission movie as a kid. But now I'm a father. The opening scene with Gene Hackman having nightmare about little kid waking him up, and he reaches out and he's not there. It's like from the minute one, I'm like crying, I'm bawling. It's just such an emotional movie, and it's a great movie. But if you watch it now, I think the third act is rushed a little bit. I don't know what happened to the production, but ending action is not as well shot as all the rest of the movie. Maybe they had some production problem. I'm not sure, but it's a little rough. At the last 20 minutes is rougher than all the rest of the movie. So I think there is a room for me to make it tighter and better. And I humbly say that because I love this movie. But I think this is the movie that could be updated, should be updated, and it's a story about son and father and all the important people who goes to war so we can have our freedom. It's a very important movie, and I think this deserves a good update.
Now, I mean, with this movie, you could explore more in depth the other characters, because this very much concentrates on the father wanting to rescue the son, doesn't dive too deep into the rest of the characters and their motivation.
Yeah, exactly.
And
it's like,
with a remake, you could go more in depth with that.
Yeah, it's basically. I mean, Joe Milius is such a Japanese film buff. I'm sure he modeled this story after Seven Samurai. You know what I mean? It's basically kind of a hired mercenary rescue mission story. Very similar to Seven Samurai structure, and just like Kurosawa explored all the Seven Samurais background story. You're right. I think that the modern version should explore background story of each soldier's more.
Mm-hmm. And actually, I mean, this kind of goes along with my thinking with remakes. Although this is a good movie, I feel that a lot of the remakes, it's a lazy because they take a good movie and then remake it. Whereas I think if you remade a bad movie, or in this case, a relative unknown movie, and made it successful, that is the challenge.
Right.
Because there's very little name recognition with remaking Uncommon Valor. That is not a well-known movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really? Okay. It was a huge Hollywood movie in Japan.
Really? I mean it's a Hollywood movie, and I'm sure people have heard of it, but it's not a huge blockbuster here.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
I think HBO probably made it bigger than it was in the theaters.
Oh, interesting. Wow. Okay.
Oh. Yeah, it's funny. I remember the box art that when Kurando showed that. I remember seeing that. Is Tom Berenger in that? Is it Tom Berenger?
No.
No. So I've never seen it, but I want to.
Patrick Swayze, right?
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah, he's young,
Gene
super
Hackman.
young. Yeah.
But that box art, I remember seeing that fucking box art all the time.
I bought the Blu-ray, and it's terrible cover. I was like, what the shit is this? And so like I had to buy the VHS just to have this cover, you
The
know?
real cover, yeah, that's a powerful cover.
Yeah, it's a great cover. Yeah.
Hey, Raven Shadow, the greatest American heroes in it.
William Cat.
William Cat.
Is William Cat in it?
Yeah, Boomer.
Oh, okay. It's been a long time. So.
Oh, I love this movie. There is so many good actors in this movie.
Oh
it's
yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah. The rich guy who finances the whole mission is Robert Stack.
That's right. Yes. Yeah.
You know, so it's like I really love that relationship, and I mean, the remake version should explore that relationship more too. You know,
yes.
Like why
yes.
would he coughing up money for this mission and stuff? You know, but yeah, it's a great movie.
Aries, how much money you got in your other pocket?
Oh my God! I so much want to finance it, and I you know what? I'll sign up for the Randall Tex Cobb role. I think I can play that role.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's continue on with Dynamo's questions.
He has more questions?
Oh, he's got a lot.
Question
yeah.
number 2. Is there a scene in one of your films you wish you could go back and reshoot? Even if it's just a frame. And why were you unhappy with it?
You know, I have to think about that because it's not a shot, but I would, my first feature, Monsters Don't Get to Cry, didn't get the distribution outside of Japan, under Germany, but I would, I would love to do the remake of that at some point. I think, at that time it was my first feature. I've only done short film. Short film to feature film, it's a different animal. It's like short film is like a cat maybe, then feature is a lion. You know what I mean? So they're like, they might be in the same species, but they're very different animals, and when I did Monsters, my experience was just with the short film. So I really didn't utilize the feature length time that well. That's my kind of reflection on that movie. So I would love to remake that movie someday. But I am still proud of that movie quite a bit, and yes. I'm gonna try my hardest to find the American home for it. Yeah, if I could shoot that movie again, I would love to.
All right, that's a great answer. Let's check in with Dynamo again.
Question number 3. I know you're a big Bowie fan like myself, but aside from him, who would you say are your favorite musical artists?
Well, let's see. Right now, not right now, but for this last decade or so, I've been really listening to Scorpions a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, for some reason, I started to love Scorpions. I think on the radio they played Changes in the Wind and stuff. I think that guitar riff in there reminded me of soundtrack from Samurai Avenger quite a bit. And so I was like, I just picked up my phone and called my musician, my composer, and I said, hey, did you kind of got a lot of, I didn't want to say copy, so I said, did you like get like a direct influence from Scorpions on our track? And he's like, yeah, I actually did. The Scorpions guitar was heavy influence on the score. So I was like, wow, that's cool. And then from there on, I really just started collecting all their albums, and I'm listening to them 24/7 now. So yeah, Scorpions, yeah.
Awesome.
That's good. Wow.
All right, let's continue on with some more Mars questions.
Question number 4, follow-up music question. If you could have an original song by any artist ever in one of your films, who would it be?
Well, I would love to be able to have Bowie's music for score, as a soundtrack. I mean, that would be amazing. But having said that, this might be a little controversial again. Maybe this is just between you guys again, but I really don't like certain filmmaker who pays a lot of money to bring, say, like Ennio Morricone's score onto his new movie.
Yeah.
I think it's a fucking cop out. It's like if you slap on Ennio Morricone to any of your shitty video, it becomes like, okay, looks good, So it's like, it's that kind of fucking film school student mentality, Like if you slap on amazing music, yeah, your piece of shit will look okay, decent, and for a big studio movie director to pay a lot of money to rip off somebody else's score onto his movie, it's a horrendous practice. That should be stopped. I mean, I hate it. And like if you have that kind of power and money, you should discover new Morricone, new Pino Donaggio. You know what I mean? Why don't you launch somebody's career, who's as talented as Morricone? Like, don't just go back to spaghetti western music library and rip off that song, just slap it onto your own goddamn movie. The only movie director who's okay to do that is Clint Eastwood. Just like what he did in American Sniper. I can get behind that, but like, don't slap that shit on, like whatever Hollywood, whatever, just Jesus Christ. Anyway, I've said too much. I've said too much already.
It's a good thing it was just between us.
Don't tell. But I really don't like big guys recycling classic soundtrack. I mean, I think that's just really bad.
Yeah, it is. To me, it is a little weird when it happens. I'm with you. I like having original music, and you can use someone as inspiration. Like, just in like for a Maniac Driver, you clearly said that there was some inspiration, but it's original track. It may be evocative of something, but it's an original track, and it really gives its own vibe and its own ambience to the movie. And I am definitely on board with you with that.
Yeah, and using already existing song is slightly different. I mean, Scorsese does that beautifully, and of course, Kenneth Anger started that tradition with Scorpion Rising. But using pop song in your movie is good. I mean, it could be a symbolism. It could be many different things. But if you use somebody else's soundtrack, some other movie soundtrack onto your own movie, I really think that's a cop out, and that shouldn't be cool. But.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with that. We do have a few more questions from Mars, but I'm going to move on because it's getting a little late in the evening, and I want to get to some of the other questions here. So I believe this is a question for you, but let's check in with Creepy Girl.
Hey, Creepy Girl here. Had a few questions for Kurando. First off, in IMDb, it says he starred on the show Ugly Betty, one of my favorite shows. Says he was in the first episode. Is that true? And what is the story behind that? Why did you do that? And also...
let me stop her right there, and you can go ahead and answer that.
Okay. Well, I had this... short-running acting career in Hollywood, and my actor friend said, I think you should meet my agent, and he is looking for somebody like you to represent. So, and we were having beer, so I thought he was just, over the beer conversation, whatever. I didn't take it seriously, but he was serious, and he did introduce me to his agent, and his agent liked me on the spot, and we signed on. And I thought, my directing career was going slow, so I was like, doing a little acting and gaining more production experience is good. So I started auditioning when I had the time, and I landed on the TV commercial job. It was actually first audition I went, and I got the part. And it was a commercial for Europe, and it was a cell phone commercial for Europe, and I was the principal. So, and it was union shoot. So automatically after that first job, I got the threatening letter from Screen Actors Guild saying, if you don't join, you're not going to work in this town again. So I was like, oh shit, I got to join the union.
Yeah.
So I actually joined the Screen Actors Guild, and then I had several other auditions before that. Then I had the Ugly Betty audition, and I guess I don't know if this is true or not, but my agent said George Takei was cast for the part that I was gonna that I eventually got cast for, but he had the scheduling conflict and he had to go at the last minute. So usually, when you audition for a Hollywood production, it's like the first round is you just do it with the casting director or casting director's assistant. Then you get called back. Then you have actual casting director and maybe a producer or something. Then if you get another call back, then it's like you have the studio executive and you have the producer, director, blah, blah, blah. But because this was like already cast part, and they had to cast somebody real quick. So my first audition for Ugly Betty, it was already the producers and everybody there audition, and I was like, oh wow, this is kind of interesting. But I did it, and I played this really difficult, picky Japanese fashion designer named Oshi, and and I guess I looked the part. So I had to be super overweight, so they put me on the fat suits, but. So that was. It's not a first episode. It's Ugly Betty first season, episode 4. It's called Swag is the title of the episode, and I play a very difficult, very moody Japanese fashion designer named Oshi.
I'm watching that tomorrow. Basically, I'm taking all to the vet, and we're coming back. Watch Karate Kill. Watch Hayate's fighting the fucking history on the Netflix, and we'll watch Ugly Betty. I can't fucking wait.
Nice. I mean, it was fun. I mean, we were shooting that episode for like a week in studio in Hollywood, and America, who played Ugly Betty, was such a wonderful actress. And I got to kiss Vanessa Williams. That was like highlight of my acting career. So.
You peaked early, Kurando.
Yes.
Just want to let you guys know on the call, I'm actually going to switch over to a different device because the one that I'm using is about to die. So I'm going to. Okay. You guys are here. Just a quick hiccup. Raven Shadow, you don't have to take your headphones off. It's not going to be that long. It's literally going to be 5 seconds.
Device.
All right. So while I do this, I will try to talk through. And I think we got it. Let me see. All right. I think you guys are back now.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Just had to switch before the other one died. That would have been bad. So... moving along, Creepy Girl says that you already answered the next two questions, so to jump ahead. So let me see if I can jump ahead to the last question here. And
Don't even know what I'm talking about. Heard of that? Ever saw it? Also, as far as
let's see,
Dario Argento. I mean, the ones that stand out is his trilogy and Phenomena and The Card Player. Those are three that are always stuck in my head that I know I liked a lot. And that's it. Love you guys and congrats on 450, I think it is. I'm old. I forget stuff. And that's it.
I think I missed a question there. I was trying to skip ahead. Let me go back.
Mike, I hope I'm saying this right. Sukiyaki I saw Takashi. Wanted to know if you ever, and also,
here we go.
I just wanted to know if you ever saw Takashi Mike. I hope I'm saying this right. Sukiyaki Django, Western Django. It's one of my favorite movies, and I don't know why, but I just think that's a movie that you would like. And a lot of people haven't seen it. Whenever I talk about it, or don't even know what I'm talking about. So, wanted to know if you ever heard of that, ever saw it, and if you liked it. Also, as far as Giallo films, Dario Argento.
All right, we heard the rest of that. So the question is, she was referring to Takashi Miike.
Yeah.
If you had seen that film, I forget the
Sukiyaki Western Django. I think that's what she's talking about. Yeah. You know, I have seen it. It was, I wanted to love it, but I didn't. I think it kind of fell short on a lot of department, but it was a very ambitious project, and I'm so envious that Mr. Miike gets big budget to pull off these oddities. Like I wish half of the jobs would fall to me, but yeah, it's unfortunately I think it was. It could have been super amazing great, but it didn't, and it kind of just kind of stayed as a oddity realm. But I only saw it once when it came out, so maybe I need to revisit it. And but it's interesting, like before Tarantino, Miike actually tried to do Django, so it's like Django idea or the theme of the name Django gets tossed around a lot in the genre world, so but yeah, I need to watch it again.
Yeah, it's actually one of the I haven't seen that one. I've seen a lot of Miike's films out of his thousands of movies that he's done. Pretty much. Not quite that many, but he's done quite a few. But okay, thank you, Creepy Girl. We appreciate the
Thank you.
Questions.
Great questions. Thank you.
Let's now. I'm not sure if this is going to be any questions. I don't know. He could be talking about Giallo because I know he's a big fan. But let's hear from Arkham Josh.
Hey, Trick or Treat Radio guys and Kurando. It's Arkham Josh here. Just calling in. Some thoughts on this week's film and giallos in general, I guess. Guess I'll just jump right into it. This week's film, Tenebre. It's classic for a reason. It's got an interesting story, a good cast. It's shot amazingly, has a great score, and some fantastic effects and set pieces. So treat and recommend. There you go. Easy as that, right? So other than that, I am happy to be a big giallo fan. I'm very, very much into the genre. So I figure if I would just say that if there's people listening that aren't as too familiar with them, and what you guys are talking about tonight seems intriguing, and they're looking for a place to start, I would recommend people check out a couple of the cornerstones of the genre, being Mario Bava's Blood and Black Lace and Argento's first film, Bird with the Crystal Plumage. They are both fantastic examples of the kind of black gloved killer scenario. And I don't know, they're two films that I have kind of found to be, quite rewatchable. They're the type of films where, every couple of years or so I go back and revisit them. If you're kind of more deeper into them already, I can just say, recommend for other people a couple of my personal favorites would happen to be Argento's Deep Red, which a lot of people will recommend, Sergio Martino's Torso, and Fulci's A Lizard in a Woman's Skin is another great one. So, I don't know. I hope you guys are having fun discussing the genre. Kurando, I am very excited to see your upcoming film and cannot wait for it. I hope everybody is doing well. And I don't know, hopefully I'll talk to you guys soon. Maybe I'll get back on the show sometime soon, all right? Have a good one. Bye.
Awesome, Arkham Josh. Thank you, man. Arkham Josh was our guest last week. Always a pleasure to hang out with that guy. He knows a ton about film. And I was reminiscing last week, Kurando, when one of the first times I got to meet Josh. He used to host film nights, so he's booked festivals and stuff like that. And in Providence, Rhode Island, he put on a Euro Horror Fest for like an entire day. It was like a 12-hour marathon, right. And I got to see some great films with that. So Josh he's been a long-time lover of Euro horror and Italian and giallo. So always great to hear from Josh.
Really enjoyed you guys last week's episode, and he was definitely a great guest on the show.
Yeah, Josh is he's a great dude. So always a pleasure to hear from him. And he laid out some good ones. MZ, I know you're a big fan of Torso yourself. What did you think of Josh's recommendations?
Yeah, his recommendations are strong. Torso is great. Mm-hmm. Torso is great. I got to meet Sergio Martino at I worked with him, in fact, at Chiller. 2010, I think it was 2010. Yeah, 2010, and just raved about Torso. I just love that movie. One of the great. One of the better non-Argento, non-Fulci giallos that are out there.
Yeah. I haven't seen that one in a long time. I should remedy that. Let's see here. Okay, so we got one more voice message, and it's a return, first-time Mike. I think he's going to talk a little bit about Euro horror and giallo, because I know he is a big fan as well. So let's hear from first-time Mike.
What's up, Trick or Treat family? This is first-time Mike. Hope everything is well with everybody, but we are here for a special occasion. Episode 450 of Trick or Treat Radio. Congratulations, my friends.
Thank you.
This is another accomplishment under your belt, and I can congratulate you all. And if you are still here when they play this, hello again. Kurando, best of luck with Maniac Driver and all your endeavors in the future. I've enjoyed everything I've watched of your work, and I'm just looking forward to more, especially as more of this COVID thing is handled. But on to before I go into Tenebre, I want to give a shout out to one of the reasons why I got introduced to Trick or Treat Radio, and it's to the original television crossover universe crew from their podcast. Robert E. Ronsky Jr., James Boyachuk, Crazy Ivan Shablatsky, and Christopher Nigro. Without those guys and having a decent show, I would not be here listening today and commenting and making a ton of friends along the way. So thank you guys. Now, Tenebre is a treat. I'm not even going to couch it with any talk about it. This is a movie of Dario Argento at the height of his powers. Beautiful brutality, set in a Technicolor nightmare Rome with splashes of both beautiful darkness and bright sunlight as a mass killer murders the unclean and the perverse, in quotations, and leaves and draws author Peter Neal into the proceedings. It's a just a beautiful giallo of a film, a strong Goblin soundtrack in great sound design. Put you on edge during the whole movie, and some of the set pieces are wonderful to behold. If you have Shudder, they have a very good print of it on Shudder, and on a 4K TV, the deaths in Tenebre are gorgeous. This is a movie to show to some people who wonder why you like that hack Dario Argento, because they haven't really seen some of his better works due to some of his later works like Argento's Dracula. Show him a movie like Tenebre and show an auteur at the height of his powers. Giallo isn't totally my favorite genre of movie, but I have seen a bunch of them, and some of the ones that I recommend other than Tenebre, just a short list. Lucio Fulci's Don't Torture a Duckling from 1972, good one. Michelle Suave's Stage Fright 1987, I mentioned that around Christmas time. Beautiful. If you get a chance to watch it, that's a treat. I watch it anytime I can find it on a streaming service. Nicholas Roeg's Don't Look Now with Donald Sutherland and Julie Christie. Not as perverse as some of the other ones, but dark, beautiful use of colors, and uses Venice to just a great effect. Massimo's Delamanos, What Have You Done to Salon, also from 72. Great, twisted, just that one will stick with you for a while. Sergio Martino's All the Colors of the Dark. Touches of Rosemary's Baby. I don't want to give too much away, but with the lovely Edwige French, and a great one, and Armand Crispiano's Autopsy, which is just one of the strangest ones I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And I also recommend that one. Also, just take a time, go to Wikipedia, look in Giallo, and just look at the name of some of the Giallis, because they have some of the best names in movies ever. Well, I know there's going to be a lot more people, so this is First Time Mike wishing you a happy episode 450, and love you guys. Take care of yourselves. Everyone, this is First Time Mike from Milwaukee, the good land. Wishing you all a good night. Bye.
All right, First Time Mike. Thanks, man. Always good to hear from you. Those are some, once again, some great recommendations there from.
Yeah. Yep.
So
solid.
Yeah, and MZ, as we talked about, we're going to be doing a Patreon show where we're going to be focusing on Giallo. So we'll get into more detail when we do that show, and our Patreon supporters can check that out in just a few days, probably. So I think that's it. We did have more of Mars's message, but it is 11:30. We've kept Kurando for 3.5 hours. So I'll comb through the rest of Mars's message, and I can convey that to you, or just send it to you, Kurando.
Yeah, please. I would love to hear the whole thing and answer it to him. I miss hearing his voice on the show. Please, I mean, I would love to talk to him on outside of the show.
Yeah, absolutely. yeah. I'm sure he'd be down for that anytime. So we appreciate everyone who took the time to send in a voice message and to ask questions and to give their thoughts on Giallo. We appreciate it. So thank you guys. And Kurando, as we start to wind down the show here, obviously we're looking forward to Maniac Driver, which you're going to be wrapping up soon and going to be submitting to festivals. And, obviously we know the process takes time. It could be months, it could be years before we see it. Hopefully not years, but we understand that it's a process, so you don't have a timeline as to when people might see it necessarily, but hopefully we'll start getting some news about it, and we'll obviously be covering it closely, so when we find out, we'll let our listeners know when they can look for it. But you had talked about you're shooting something in was it in the fall? Was it October? Is that what you said?
October, yes.
Okay. I know it's hush hush. Is there anything you are able to mention about it now?
Well, it's like I said, it's gonna be my first Japanese studio film.
Yep.
Uh, uh, the biggest size and budget so far to the date of my career. So I'm really excited about it. I'm gonna give 300% to this picture, hoping that I will launch into, you know, say like if I were in a minor league player so far,
Right.
I'm really hoping this movie will launch me to the major league realm. So I can start doing a little bigger production and whatnot. But I'm super excited about this. This is kind of um near future apocalyptic
Oh, okay.
stuff. It's kind of a sci-fi, a little bit like a hero movie. The apocalyptic world, sci-fi action movie. My producer, his favorite movie of mine was Samurai Avenger. So it's gonna be me going back to that kind of parallel world esque setup, and it's going to be very interesting. The script was ready because this was going to be shot last year, last April, but because the production got pushed back to this year, this fall, we had the time in our hands, so we were like, okay, why don't we like really go work on the script and make it as good as it gets. And it was really kind of hard for me to work on this fantasy apocalypse on the pages of my script when real apocalypse was going on in the world. It's like
no kidding.
And anything I can think of, it's like, holy shit, the pandemic. I actually am living in the real pandemic, and I can't just go outside and do stuff whatever I want to do. And so it was really kind of hard for me to concentrate on this fantasy script for a long time. But just kind of dawned on me like, oh, okay, I'm gonna put my thought, my reaction to pandemic in the script. So when that floodgate was open, this script took a whole another turn and became more kind of a symbolic sci-fi movie about the state of the world today. And I really can't wait for you guys to check it out. I mean, I'm gonna like give 300%, 500% on this picture, and I'm really looking forward to opening this movie big to the world.
Yeah, that's really exciting, and I just love hearing you talk about it because it's right in my wheelhouse. I like what you're saying, and I'm glad that you were able to find a personal angle to take it in, and sort of like maybe take out some of your pandemic frustrations on the script, and and kind of work some of your personal feelings into it. So that alone is an interesting aspect of it, and it kind of points to the future of filmmaking in general. I wonder how the pandemic is going to affect people's outlook on things. We've had a lot of time. A lot of us have had a lot of time to reflect and to really kind of sit with ourselves. And it'll be interesting to see how that translates into films, TV, music, art in general. So it's interesting to hear your perspective on that.
Yeah.
So
no, it's going to be interesting. I've used a lot of symbolism of what I see on the news and in the real world, stuff like that. So and that was the only way for me to be able to write fictional apocalypse. It's really difficult to concentrate on your fiction when the real world you live in is more fucked up than anything you can come up with,
That's true.
So
yeah. So
true. I had the rough time, but when I said, okay, I'm just gonna make a make a symbolism out of what's going on in the real world, then that became easier process.
Yeah, well, it sounds awesome. I can't wait.
Thank you.
Do you guys have any comments? I don't want to rush things along. If you guys have something you want to say about it, Raven
Nope.
Shadow, you digging it?
I'm sold. I'm fucking excited. I can't. Fucking,
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, forget about it.
All right.
I can't wait for you guys to see Maniac Driver too. Like especially Aries, who's not a fan of the genre. Like I think that my Giallo is more cohesive than majority of the genre. But I mean I would love to hear MZ's reaction, who's Giallo buff, and for Aries, someone like Aries who's not loving the genre, but willing to check out the different things. I'm really thrilled.
From what I know of you, it seems like you are adding the more substance to the genre, and that's what I'm interested in. So I'm very, very interested in seeing what this is going to be.
Great.
Here's what I want. I want the KCU. I want the Kurando Cinematic Universe. I want
KCU.
I want fucking Karate Kill and Woman and fucking Samurai Ninja all teaming up, and maybe you could find your part a skinny, long-haired 40-something guy that smokes a lot that can maybe. I'm just saying that.
Glasses too.
Yeah, glasses inside. I'm just saying that when Karate Kill and Gunwoman teams up, I think that like Karate Kill wouldn't like Raven Shadow's jib, but I think
I think his name isn't Karate Kill, just so you know.
But that's his nickname. That's his nickname.
Yeah. He's Karate Kill.
He's Karate Kill.
I'm just saying is that I think you should have a skinny, long-haired 40-something guy in your picture. But I'm saying that I want a Kurando Cinematic Universe. I think there's a great thing there. Bring the Blind Wolf back. Get everyone fucking there. It'd be dope.
Love to do it. Love to do it. Yeah.
KCU.
KCU.
Thank you. Thank you.
The Kurando Cinematic Universe. Or it could be MCU. Could be Mitsutake Cinematic Universe.
That's the real MCU right there.
The real MCU. All right. So we are going to start to wrap things up here. What I'll do is when you guys say your goodbyes, you can say some final thoughts to Kurando at that point in time. I want to give everyone an opportunity, but I'll start off and say Kurando. First of all, it was a pleasure. But before we go into that, if you would let people know where they could follow you on social media, if you want people to do that. I know you're using Twitter a little bit more lately, so feel free to share any of that information you want.
Yeah, please. I'm on Twitter at mkurando, Kurando, MKURANDO. I'm on Facebook. I also have a website. I'm not updating that too much, but if you just Google me, I think I pop out somehow. And love to get connected. Love for you guys to support my movies, and so I can make more. But yeah, thank you very much, and congratulations to you guys for the 450th episode. This is monumental, and I was so happy to join you here and do this online social, on the air kind of thing. This fantastic. I haven't talked to non-family members in this extent for like so many months. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. For me to see there's outside beyond my family. This is fantastic. And all of you are well. I know MZ had the COVID, but he's the survivor. This is great. So, thank you for having me. This was just pleasure.
Of course, Kurando. It's the pleasure's all ours, and it's actually interesting. Today is kind of feel like kind of a poignant day to do something like this, because it was a year ago today that I think I think March 11th, 2020 was like the day that COVID became fucking real in America. And it's the day that the NBA canceled their season. It's a few things happened on this day, and it's not something to celebrate, but it is something to to sort of talk about, and it's good to hang with friends. And we do consider you a friend, Kurando. You're a friend, but also a great filmmaker, and it's been great getting to know you over the years. And also just getting to hang out with you. We came out there, myself and Mars came out there to hang out with you in California. We went to go see New Japan Pro Wrestling show together, which was phenomenal. And then you came out here for Rock and Shock. So it's been great. And I'm sure it won't be the last time, but we have to wait until things get better, and there'll be another time when we can all get together and hang out again. So it was a pleasure for us. And when we thought about 450, about what we wanted to do, we didn't want to do something kind of low key, nothing too huge in terms of like having multiple guests. And first person I thought of was we need to catch up with Kurando. It's been far too long, and I know Maniac Drivers, is on its way soon. So I figured it'd be a great time to catch up. And obviously we'll have to have you back again when Maniac Driver comes out, when you get some more stuff to talk about, or just to hang out. If pandemic extends a little bit further, we may have to have another hangout so we can all just kind of shoot the shit and have fun. So
yeah, you guys review classic Japanese movie House. Several episodes ago, right? I mean, when you do something funky like that, just help me on for a little spot or something. I mean, I would love to talk about old Japanese oddity with you guys and stuff.
You know what? A movie I've actually never seen. Maybe you can illuminate us. But Kwaidan, is a movie I've heard a lot of really interesting, good things about.
Right. It's amazing movie. It's based on work by Yakumo Koizumi, who was originally a British person, I believe. He moved to Japan, and he fell in love with Japanese folklores, and he actually put together a Japanese horror story anthology, and the Masaki Kobayashi, one of the top Japanese filmmaker, his work like Harakiri is super famous. One of the best samurai movie ever. But he did this super expensive production of Kaidan, and it's just gorgeous film with the amazing Japanese cast, set design. It's hard to believe everything was shot in studio, and but the film cost so much money, it actually bankrupted the production that made it.
Wow!
And I think the head producer hanged himself or something.
Wow!
So yeah, it's a really kind of heavy duty story, but it's just magnificent movie. And if you guys review it, I would love to pop in and join you guys for the discussion.
All right, maybe that's something that we'll have to set up for sometime in the future. We'll keep in touch about that. But that's one that I've always wanted to see, and it already seems like you have a pretty good a lot of the stories behind it. So it is, I'll warn you, Raven Shadow, it is a 3-hour movie, though.
Then can we hang out with Kurando for 3 hours?
Well, we almost hung out with him for 4 hours tonight. So
I'm saying checks and balances.
Raven Shadow, stop watching the movie now.
Yeah.
So in 3 months when we get to it, you'll be done.
Yeah.
It's relatively easier 3 hours to deal with because it's an anthology. It's a collection of short stories.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so it's easy. So it's easy to follow. You can watch a couple of stories, stop. Watch a couple of stories, stop.
I just need Kurando to explain things to me.
I'll do the audio commentary for you.
Audio commentary. There you go.
I'd be like, Raven Shadow, just make your bed, bro. Go get the mail. Don't stay anxiety in the cat box. I'll be okay, Kurando. I'll do that.
Oh God.
All right. So, Kurando, thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure, and we appreciate you spending the time with us. It means a lot.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. All right, let's go around the room and everyone say their goodbyes, starting with MZ.
All right. Kurando, thank you for showing up tonight, buddy. It's been awesome. Thank you very much. It's can't wait to talk to you again. It's been too long. And to the rest of you, arrivederci, douchebags.
That actually works very well after talking about an Italian film.
Yeah.
All right, Aries.
All right, Kurando, it's been great talking to you about movies. I enjoy actually speaking with someone intelligent for a change. Hopefully we'll be back soon. Goodbye.
Thank you.
All right, Raven Shadow.
Yo, if you like fucking martial arts mayhem with sleaze, violence, and passion with a plucky spirit, and really, really good fucking nudity. We haven't said about nudity, but you do it really well, Kurando, and it's very tasteful, and it gets me, it rhymes with a but you do a really good job with that. So check out, once again, Gun Woman, Karate Kill, so much of his catalog. Season 2 of Heroes, The Blind Wolf. This guy is fucking dope. Check him out. He's so nice. We love him. And I fondly remember the walk back from the Lucky Dog.
That was fantastic. Thank you. Yeah.
You, me, Slagoth, and Noah walking back to the hotel. A little bit wild.
No, I enjoyed it. That was really one of my fond memory of my trip. That was great.
So please, I can't wait for Maniac Driver. So until next time, live fast, love hard, survive with your mask on.
Thank you.
Kurando, if you ever need a new publicist, Raven Shadow is ready to submit his resume.
I love it.
If you can figure out how to work email.
Yeah. Well, the Raven Shadow said something super interesting. I thank you. He said I do nudity well. I don't take off my clothes really, but it's not that presentable.
You're not naked behind the camera?
Well, that's a Paul Verhoeven style. The Maniac Driver is going to be the sexiest work I've done so far, and I was so fortunate to have this amazing, committed actresses, and they're just gorgeous and talented and intelligent. And man, it's like I can't tell you, okay, Giallo needs sexy leading ladies, and I definitely had really fortunate pleasure of working with amazing Japanese beauties on this movie, and you guys are in for a treat. And I really just can't push that aspect of the movie, and it's I think you guys are going to be really blown away in all the performances and how gorgeous some of the we were lucky to have these Japanese actresses in Maniac Driver. They really are the top-notch Japanese beauties are in this movie.
Raven Shadow sold.
Yeah.
Still though, even
I'm sold.
They fucking bring it, they feel it, and they do these roles that are fucking powerful, kick ass, and once again, I'm 44, but I'm still fucking 13. But still, it's still the art that's great. So it's sexy.
Yeah, you gave that whole description. All Raven Shadow heard was titties.
Your beauties.
And also, the cast of I had such a, it's a really low budget movie with just we shot it in 4 days and a half, but all the performers, all the actors in this movie are top-notch Japanese actors, and one of the guest star actor. He's actually in Shin Godzilla 2.
Okay.
Like a really recognizable big Japanese actors are actually in Maniac Driver, and because it's such a small production, yet it was my first movie to shoot in Japan. So all my actor friends, they were like, I want to be in it, and I was really fortunate to have them in the movie. And the leading man, the guy who plays the Maniac Driver, Mr. Kimura, Tomoki Kimura, is like, definitely he's going to be a huge name in Japanese cinema very soon. And we were so lucky to have him as a leading man on this picture. And you'll see his performance, and you'll be like really blown away.
Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait to see it, and hopefully we won't have to wait too long. Once again, Kurando, well, we can't thank you enough. It was a pleasure just spending the night with you, so we appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, and that is going to do it for the show. So we'll be collecting our pocket change after the show ends, and we're going to greenlight Uncommon Valor remake and also Kurando's Japanese World War II movie. We'll be collecting pocket change. If anyone wants to send theirs our way to finance this, Aries he's going to be the lead executive producer of Uncommon Valor, and Raven Shadow is going to produce the Japanese World War II movie.
Yes.
MZ is going to be the best boy on both. All right. Well, that's going to do it for episode 450 of Trick or Treat Radio. We appreciate everybody who sent in some voice messages, everyone who hung out live with us, and everyone who's going to listen to the podcast, and especially to Kurando Mitsutake for making great films and for hanging out with us. We appreciate it, Kurando. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, that's going to do it, everyone. So come back next week, and we'll be talking about the film The Vigil, and we'll be back for episode 451. So everyone take care, be safe, and we'll see you then.